street. This is where me and the zombies meet.
What's up, Fight fam, and welcome to Boxing Bros. This is a podcast. This is episode 20-something. We starting to do, I don't know, it's 20-something. I'm Caden. I'm here with my co-host. Please introduce yourselves.
What's going on? This is Trev.
This is G.
That's Nag. What's up, World TB, baby?
All right, and so diving right in, the first topic we're going to discuss is Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury made statements which basically said that Wilder will knock out Joshua and he is the second best heavyweight in the world. Those statements were made by Tyson Fury. Let me share the screen. All right. Let's look at the quote. Here it is from right here. Deontay Wilder is the second best heavyweight in the world. I believe he knocks out Anthony Joshua and everyone else behind me, Fury said to the lockdown. As I'm a realist in the heavyweight boxing and messing with the most vicious puncher in history, I'm not overlooking anyone. Deontay Wilder is still the most dangerous boxer for me. Even after a defeat, he's still the most dangerous because when a fighter gets beat, he can either come back 10 times stronger or fold. I believe Deontay Wilder in the way he carries himself and believes in himself, he'll come back stronger and with a better game plan, and he'll try harder and he'll try to do things differently. I'm not saying he can, but he'll try it. He'll give it a try, which makes him more dangerous. If I don't focus 110% like last time, there won't be any other fights, and I'll just be carried out the ring on a stretcher. Those are the comments by Tyson Fury. I'll start this one off with G. What are your thoughts on Tyson Fury's comments?
All right, so initially, when you sent the topic, I was like, yeah, obviously he's supposed to say that, right? Because, he doesn't want to devalue his own resume. But reading his statement, I actually agree with what Tyson Fury is saying. In regards to Deontay Wilder coming back, stronger and harder and more focused because, that loss was a major embarrassment. So, Deontay Wilder's doing everything in his power to improve and advance himself. Well, at least I believe that in my heart of hearts because that was a bad, showcase. That was horrible. You know what I mean? Especially now that Tyson Fury and AJ made like a 50-50 deal, 60-40 split deal for the rematch. That looks so crazy that I think that lit up a fire under Wilder. And so, and me personally, I'm Team Wilder, and I'm rooting for Wilder whenever he fights AJ. So I like to believe what Fury's saying, but as of right now, to say Wilder's number 2, I don't know. It's wishful thinking as of right now. I want to believe it, but it's just a real tough thing to actually admit. To fix my lips to say that as of right now, it kind of look like either I'm an AJ hater or, I'm just a Wildette. So as of right now, all I could do is just wait and hope that Wilder performs well in that trilogy.
Trill looks like he has something to say, so let's turn it over to Trill.
Man. I'm going to pick C, all of the above. I believe it's all of the above. This is why I say this, that it's all of the above. All right, here it is. Of course, I believe that he thinks that Wilder's going to try to come back stronger. But do we believe it after that beatdown that we seen? No. Nobody believes that. You know what I'm saying? Do we believe that Wilder can do something so incredible that can come back from that assault that took place? No. Nobody does. But just to stay face for the money and for this fight that they got coming up, of course, he's going to say all the things that he's supposed to say so they can sell this fight. But actions speak louder than words. He took this 2-fight deal with AJ. I don't care what nobody says. He's overlooking him. He has every right to. Because of what he did to him, he feels in his heart like, listen, I'm going to go back in there and I'm just going to do what I did, maybe even sooner, and go over here and get this money with AJ. So I'm going to say this rubbish against AJ and try to build this up over here. So then I could get back and get, because as soon as this fight's over with Deontay, it's going to be like, I always knew it was going to come down to me and AJ.
We'll do best, me and Joshua.
I can see it there, you know. Deontay, I hope he is. I hope everything that G's saying is coming from a Wilder supporter. Of course, G is going to tell you people that I hope Wilder is using this as fire. That's what he mean. He didn't say, he hopes Wilder is using this as fire so that he can come in there ready to shock the world. That's what he's doing. But Tyson Fury don't believe that. And this is just a mind game that he's playing. Because he already done called Wilder every bum and under the book.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And we seen the Wilder
He's a big useless dosser.
And we seen the
Eat
Wilder
spaghetti
edits.
legs.
We seen the Wilder edits. So we see what type of guy Wilder kind of fight
It's
a
the
Wilder.
audits, Trill. It's the audits.
It's the edits. Because we edit out all the BS. When they left Deontay Wilder sitting there naked, the edits were horrible. The edits were stripped. The edits stripped him.
Yo, listen, I had this guy come up to me. He was mad at me. He said, you guys ruined boxing for me. I don't think I wanted to know that. He said, when I thought Wilder was knocking out 40 guys, and I was like, I looked at him as like this big time symbol of power. But when I actually saw the guys he was knocking out, I was like, I'll never believe in a record again.
Yo, he ain't lying, bro. I'm telling you, you messed up the whole story, bro.
He wasn't impressed. He wasn't impressed. He wasn't impressed. But yeah, but I agree with in part to a lot what G was saying. Tyson's saying what he's supposed to say. And he's over, to me, I think he's overlooking Wilder. He's not overlooking him because he knows that's still a man in front of him. But he's like, there's no way.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. He's not overlooking him in terms of he's not training for him, he's not preparing for him, but he's expecting to beat him, basically.
Exactly. That's what I gotta say. That man.
Ned?
No, I agree with Trails when he said it's one of Fury's mind games. And Fury's just love playing mind games. One minute he'll like treat you like his brother, and next minute he treat you like a other. And with him, it's just he realized. I guess he's realizing, undisputed. Undisputed.
His bars, you know?
He's realizing undisputed is closer than he thinks, and he has to start getting into AJ's head. Also, wow, I think him building up Wilder or giving Wilder props is just, I want to say him. It's just him, just like trying to psych Wilder out, like so Wilder getting back into that ego stage of like, bomb squad, right in, So when that fight happens, he has the formula for Wilder, and he's also setting that he's trying to get into AJ's head for later on when they have to fight in 2021. So. That's my take on it. It's all just Fury. Tomorrow he's gonna be like, AJ, we got to do this for Great Britain, all of that, things like that. It's just flip flopping.
You don't believe all those things can be true?
You
don't believe all that can be true?
Oh, Deontay Wilder, stop it.
All right, so for me, there's a few things. One, Tyson Fury saying that Deontay Wilder would knock out Anthony Joshua. I mean, all right, let's play that game. Fury beats Wilder, so now he's trying to elevate his status because he beat someone that Joshua didn't beat, and he's using that victory to say the guy I beat would knock out Anthony Joshua. So what if Joshua decided to play that game? What if Joshua says Dillian Whyte would knock out Tyson Fury? Is that far-fetched? Nah, not really. Dillian Whyte might really knock him out, right? So AJ says Dillian Whyte would knock him out. So don't think because I beat Dillian Whyte that Tyson Fury can beat Dillian Whyte. Then he says Joseph Parker would knock out Tyson Fury. I'm the best. Don't think because I beat him, Tyson Fury can beat him. Alexander Povetkin, Andy Ruiz. You can keep going. He can just name his list of people who he beat. He can say, because I give it to Fury. You did beat Vladimir Klitschko, but Joshua did knock him out. He can say, I'm not going to, you guys can play this game, right? But like I always say, don't tell me about cross fights. Styles make fights. What AJ had to beat Dillian Whyte, Tyson Fury doesn't necessarily have it. And what Tyson Fury had to beat Wilder, Joshua doesn't necessarily have it. So Joshua's going to have to prove his style can beat Wilder. And Tyson Fury's going to have to prove his style could beat Joseph Parker, could beat Dillian Whyte, could beat Alexander Povetkin, could beat these guys. So, one, I'm not going to give credit to Deontay Wilder saying Deontay Wilder could knock out Joshua. I believe Joshua would beat Wilder, but once again, it's not definitive. This is the reason why we've been having these arguments. It's the reason why G and I were going back at it in the YMCA. I think it's foolish that anyone believes Deontay Wilder could beat Anthony Joshua. But G believes he could. Sure. And so that's when we get into these arguments. And there's only one way to settle this. That's in the ring. Not what Tyson Fury believes, right? So there's that. Everything he's saying about Deontay Wilder, coming back stronger, coming back better. It's possible. Anything's possible. But do I believe it? No. Deontay Wilder hasn't shown anything different his entire career. One fight he boxed. And then his entire career he relied on the right hand. He said it himself. All I need is 2 seconds. The 2 seconds didn't come. With social distancing and the injuries that Deontay Wilder has, how is he learning how to box right now? Who's in his camp teaching him? Every time he posts a picture, I don't see him boxing. If you tell me he's behind the scene learning, what's going to happen the moment he gets caught with a shot? He's going to revert right back to what he knows, land a big right hand. Until I see otherwise, I'm not convinced. And I really don't believe Fury's convinced. But it's smart for Fury to do what he's doing because his mind games have already turned to Joshua. But if I'm Joshua, either one, don't engage Fury, or two, just say everyone I beat, he couldn't beat. And I beat guys with actual fighters on their resume. If you want to know about Deontay Wilder's resume, go check out them audits done by the Boxing Bros, and you'll see he never beat nobody. But I actually beat a bunch of people.
The edits. The edits. The edits.
Oh, the edits. I'm sorry. Go watch the edits. Change that. Nah, but so that's what I would do if I was Joshua. But realistically, if you know, you know. I mean, G still has hope that Wilder can redeem himself in the trilogy. But if you know, you know. Joshua.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
Listen, what
Joshua,
we do know about heavyweight division is it's always one punch.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm hoping on that one punch because that's all I got right now. You know
that's true. But like I said, if you know, you know. Joshua, Fury. As long as you're fighting each other, I don't care what you got to say. So far, that seems to be the case. Bravo. Talk away. Because so far, we'll have a chance to have it decided in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're going to move on to the next topic, which did Tyson Fury announcing, his deal with Joshua for the undisputed fight give Deontay Wilder bulletin board material, basically. And this is in response to comments made by Andre Ward. All right, fellas, just let me know if you can hear this.
ones that have been clamoring for an undisputed champion, but I just don't like the path necessarily that Tyson Fury is taking. I'm not a fan of giving an opponent, and that opponent right now is Deontay Wilder, bulletin board material. This is a man in Deontay Wilder who took his first loss, a humiliating loss at that. He's dealing with his own pride being bruised. He's a competitor, and if you're Team Fury, you have to know and you have to leave room for Deontay Wilder showing up in the rematch as the best version of himself. I don't like the added motivation because even if Fury is not overlooking him, that's the way Team Wilder is going to interpret this.
Trill, what are your thoughts on that?
Whatever he want to use for tackling fuel, he can do. You know, whatever. I don't see it. Whatever you want to use for motivation, go ahead. Listen, if that butt whooping wasn't motivation enough, then this dude hearing Tyson Fury getting another fight, listen, that's nothing. Forget the words. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but forget those words. You got beat up bad. He ain't worried about no words. If anything, he's worried about getting beat up again like that. You know, I'm just sitting there looking. He was out of there. He looked like he had a bottle of Hennessy. He was done in the club. He was out.
What was the soup, Trill? What was the soup?
It was something. It was Fury's fist.
It was Fist of Fury.
It was a fist of fury. That's what it was. This is everybody. Everybody's gonna have something to say. But if that getting beat up and humiliated like that wasn't motivation enough, forget those words. Just watch the tape. Watch the tape back. You know what I'm saying? Forget those words. Sure, if you want to say that, maybe it didn't. Maybe it did. It should have been that those hands that man put on you. Forget those words. That's how I feel. But hey, Andre Ward is doing what he's supposed to do. He's commentating.
All right, G.
I agree with Trill, but I'm looking at it from a different perspective, right? And this is what I'm thinking. What Andre Ward is really trying to say is, bro, why would you announce the 50-50 split with Joshua? Because if, in fact, Wilder gets lucky and, like, beats Tyson Fury, does that mean Wilder's entitled to that 50% against a Joshua fight? You get what I'm saying? So then now it's like you're giving Wilder some form of leverage to negotiate a 50-50. So I kind of feel like don't give him anything right now, like at all. Like whatever you're doing on the side with Joshua, keep that on the side. Don't make it public. Deal with Wilder, get him out the way, and then make that huge announcement against Anthony Joshua. So that's the only way I could see from and I don't even know if Ward was really trying to say that, you know. I kind of see, like, I kind of agree with what Trill's saying. It doesn't even make sense, but I think it's one of those, yo, ESPN's giving them a talking point, like, yo, speaking code. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to look at it as, like, why you giving PBC ammunition, you know? So, yeah.
Ned?
No, I disagree with G. I see where you're coming from, but I don't agree with it because, you know, AJ's camp, Eddie Hearns and AJ did say they give Wilder, they want to make Undisputed happen. So Wilder did win. I don't see why they wouldn't offer him 50-50 for the fight. They want to make it happen. Let's make it happen next year. So whatever outcome that happens between Tyson and Wilder 3, the 50-50 Undisputed is going to happen no matter what. But I just feel Andre Ward, he's just giving his opinion on the matter, and it doesn't really matter. It's just him speaking on it. They said what they said. We know Undisputed is going to happen next year. Wilder versus Joshua or Fury versus Joshua, and that's it. So let's get it. Let's make it happen.
Hey, man, there was video posted yesterday. It's Fury announces the deal with Joshua to psychologically damage Deontay Wilder. That's on our page. You can watch it to get basically my opinion on this. It's sink or swim time for Deontay Wilder. Basically, is what Tyson Fury's pointing out to him by announcing this deal. This deal is saying you are about to be erased, and you have to look at the significance of this because Deontay Wilder went from being offered $120 million. He turned it down. He fought Tyson Fury. At the time he fought Tyson Fury, he was the bigger name because he got a 60-40 split for that fight. 60 Deontay, 40 Fury. Fury, coming off the 2.5-year layoff, really outboxed Deontay Wilder. It was a draw. I'm not going to say it was a robbery. Wilder did drop him twice. That's 2 10-8 rounds. And he got a draw. It was in America. Fury came back. Well, after that draw, really, is when things really started to take off. And that's when Fury started to pull away from Deontay Wilder in terms of popularity, signing a deal with ESPN. And Deontay Wilder, coming into the rematch, really needed to win that fight in order to make all of his gambles pay off. What happened was more people watched Deontay Wilder fight Tyson Fury in the rematch than at any point in his career. And more people saw Deontay Wilder get knocked out. We saw him throw in the towel. That's what they saw. This invincible man who's knocked out, the hardest puncher in boxing history. Most people, when they watched him fight, are going to remember he got beat so bad his corner threw in the towel.
By a guy who claimed to be a pillow-fisted fighter.
Yes. So now you have Tyson Fury already got the deal with ESPN, was on WWE, UFC 4. They want to put Tyson Fury in their game. You have this guy now agreeing to 50-50 with Anthony Joshua. And he was able to do that because of the way he beat Deontay Wilder. Announcing this deal for Deontay Wilder is saying to him, this is your last chance. This is your last chance at the big time. And Tyson Fury said to Deontay Wilder, I brought you into big time boxing, and I'm going to take you out of big time boxing. He said that to him. And this just gets so bad because if you watch the video, it'll break down how Frank Warren and Tyson Fury have been outsmarting Al Heyman and Shelly Finkel from the jump. You know, I didn't even, at the time, what makes it even crazier, when Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder, he had a Nigerian mouthpiece in his mouth.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's crazy.
He had a Nigerian mouthpiece in his mouth. Anthony Joshua is Nigerian. These are two British men. They FaceTime each other. They talk to each other. What people don't realize is Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua was going to be the biggest fight that could be made in boxing. And the British came and took it away. America versus Britain.
Yeah.
And then you had Tyson Fury come over here and beat Deontay Wilder in America. Nigerian mouthpiece in his mouth. Anthony Joshua, Nigerian. What if these guys played Wilder like a fiddle all along, and Wilder thought he was the one freezing out Anthony Joshua? I'm just telling you, man, it's funny because the same thing that make you laugh make you cry. You had to be perfect for 2 seconds. Everybody else had to be perfect for 36 minutes, right? Now, you better be perfect for 2 seconds, or your 2 seconds of fame is gone. You know what I'm saying? So we just gonna move. Oh, Ned, did you went, right?
Yeah, he went.
Yeah, I went.
All right.
I was about to be like, please like and subscribe. Check us out.
Don't do that yet. Don't do that yet, brother. I don't think we've gone long enough. All right.
We should say that for the ending. That was a good close. That was the way you end the show right there.
I'm sorry, everybody. All right. All right, here we go. All right, so the next topic we're going to discuss is Barry Hearn says he does not believe there will be a third fight between Wilder and Fury because there's no longer money, and he's saying that's due to the pandemic and things of that nature. So let's pull this up quickly. Let me just share the screen. So this article is on TalkSport. It says, unlikely Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3 won't happen, says Barry Hearn, who claimed financial fallout of coronavirus pandemic may stop trilogy fight. All right, let's go to the quotes. Here you go. I can't see Tyson Fury fighting Deontay Wilder, the Matchroom chief told TalkSport. The reason being, this is all pre-COVID. Don't forget, they've lost a fortune promoting Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder in the past. They've now given them a new deal where they've got to fight again. That was based on values of 12 months ago when in boxing there was a lot of money out there and everyone was going crazy spending big purses. I don't think people involved can actually afford to do Tyson versus Deontay Wilder on original terms that were set out in today's world. If that's the case, the fighters have got two choices. One, not fight, or two, take much reduced fight purses. For a fight where if Wilder lands on Tyson, it could upset the apple cart for hundreds of millions of dollars down the road concerning Fury's fight versus Joshua. That's the interesting scenario. Of course, I can always be wrong. I've been wrong before. April 1953. I remember it. What happened April 1953, Barry? Don't make me look it up. All right. And basically, what he's saying is, due to the pandemic, the money that was once there is no longer there, and their deal was signed 12 months ago when there was a lot of money to throw around, but due to the pandemic, that money no longer exists. So, one, either the fight's not going to happen, or two, they're going to have to take that fight at a reduced number, at a reduced salary than they originally agreed to. And why would Tyson Fury want to do that when there's always the risk of Deontay Wilder landing the punch from the gods, basically, and upsetting the apple cart? So knowing those things, G, what's your thoughts on Barry Hearn's comments?
I actually agree with Barry Hearn on this. And because I don't see Fox and ESPN spending that type of money again. Especially there'll be pretty much no money coming in from the gate. You know, we're going to be, doing that whole social distancing thing. So capacity is going to be limited in any arena, regardless of where the location is, anywhere in the world, so they're probably looking at it like, this is going to be real difficult to make this fight as special as it could have been before the pandemic. So I think, but this is where I disagree, because I think I'm gonna say the true answer. There should be an alternative answer, right? So as opposed to those two that he provided saying don't fight or take a reduced purse, the third option just could be simply, hey, postpone the fight. I think the networks still want that fight on their platforms. It is still, I think it's going to be a decent pay-per-view. I don't think it's going to be obviously as big as the second one because of how bad Wilder got beat up. But if you invested so much in Deontay Wilder, meaning Fox and PBC, you're expecting a return. So unless they could agree to taking reduced purses, which I don't believe Tyson Fury will do that. I don't believe Tyson Fury will agree to that. So Wilder maybe, Tyson Fury not so much. And so either ESPN is probably like, it's not profitable for this fight, so let's try to negotiate something with PBC to postpone it, or make a guarantee to Wilder to fight Wilder later on or something, but it just doesn't make sense as of right now. And if they do it, they're going to lose millions. And so it doesn't make sense to do that. So that's why I actually agree with Barry Hearn on that situation.
All right, Trill Dollar Bill.
Barry Hearn has anything to do with this fight?
Yeah, that's Eddie Hearn's pops. He's the chief
whole
of Matchroom Boxing.
All right, with Tyson Fury and Deontay?
Nah.
Oh, no. But he does have something to do with the fight. Sorry, just to answer your question quickly. In the fact that Joshua does have, a
yeah, I understand that. I understand that with him and Joshua, but I'm talking about he's speaking like he has something to do with the, like, are they under contracts with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder? Are they do they have a contract set to fight each other in place?
Yes.
Oh, then they gotta honor that contract. You better pay these guys whatever they want. If they have a set contract, if this is what I'm hearing, if this is the thing about I was learning about, Kaden was schooling me about contracts, and if these people already agreed to this, then they have to honor these contracts. Of course, these people gonna lose bread, and if there's something about buys, if their contract is about buys or something like that, poor Deontay, he should have took that money long time ago. And I usually reserve the whole poor thing for Dillian Whyte, but this is a poor Deontay moment as well, because he's starting to wish he would have took that 120 mil when he had the chance. Because there's no money out there after this whole thing that went down with the world.
He not beat poor Dillian anymore, because if he loses to Fury, his next fight might have to be Dillian.
Listen, as long as it ain't for the WBC belt, they're gonna be like a non-title belt, non-title match.
They'll fight for me.
Not to like challenge you, but when you're looking at the contract, though, I think it's mutually.
No, I don't know nothing about the contract. I was actually asking.
Oh, no, but I'm just saying, like, I think it'll be mutually beneficial.
I can get into that in a second,
for both sides to say, hey, let's not do this right now, because both sides are going to lose. So, the global situation, the circumstances have been altered where there's just no money in that fight. So I think it'll be to both sides, like, benefit to just say, hey, we got to do something. Let's figure this out. But to just go into the fight, they're going to lose a lot of money. Like, we seen, they were promoting this fight on, like, everywhere, like on cable television.
They lost money on the last one. I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. I was just coming from the standpoint, like, say, for example, they said they're giving me $20 million. Mm-hmm. They're giving you $20 million. And then all of a sudden they be like, oh, we're going to lose because we don't think that we're going to be able to make $40 million off the fight. Still got to pay us our bread. That's what I was going off of, if that's the case. Even if they lose money, what does that have to do with us if we have a set agreement?
So I'll jump in on this one real quick, just because it's lingering. I was going to wait. It depends. There are certain ways. So the law is a funny thing. There's the rule, and the rule is law, unless it falls into one of the exceptions. So there's always an exception to the rule. So I'll give you an example. If I go and I punch Trill in the face, that is an assault and battery. If we're boxing in a ring with gloves on, then it's not, because Trill consents to the contact, which consent is the defense to the assault and battery, which doesn't make it assault and battery. If I shoot someone and they die, it's murder, right? Unless they had a gun, broke into my house and was about to harm me, and then I shot them. Now the defense is self-defense, right? That's the exception to the murder. So now, yeah, it's a murder, right? But it falls within an exception. Contract to fight, unless there's extenuating circumstances that prevent the event from happening, right? So say I agree. I'm going to have a wedding at this venue. We're going to have a wedding at this venue. And we sign paperwork, everything. But the venue burns down. I can't have the wedding at the venue. It's no fault of the owners of the venue. They can't. It's not their fault. They can't. The venue burnt down. Lightning struck and the fire set and bang. The venue was gone. So what am I going to do? I can't sue them. They have no venue to provide me. They give me my money back, and I got to go try to do something else. It's a extenuating circumstance. Okay. So they agreed to have this fight. They agreed to the contract, but they agreed to have it by a certain date, and it couldn't take place on that certain date due to a pandemic.
No, I understand that part.
Yeah.
I understand that point, and I agree with that point. It should be pushed back to a later date. But the fact that I'm saying that it's not going to be able to generate the money because all this happened and everybody's money is going to be funny now. I think that's these guys already thought that they was going to get a certain amount of money.
Well, nah, I get what you're saying. That's only like what I'm saying is they would try to use the situation to get out of the contract, right? To just flat get out of the contract. Now, you're talking about postponing, right? Well, now Tyson Fury has a deal in place to fight Anthony Joshua 2021. So you can't, if you're going to push the fight back, now it's going to have to happen after Tyson Fury fights Joshua because he's contractually obligated to fight Joshua in 2021. He was ready and available to fulfill his obligation to fight Deontay Wilder in the third fight at a time when they agreed to fight, but due to a pandemic and extenuating circumstance, the fight couldn't take place. That's beyond Tyson Fury's control. That's beyond the venue's control. That's beyond promotional control. So what do you want Fury to do? If that fight can't take place,
I don't think it's poor Deontay. I think it's a blessing in disguise.
He ain't got no bread.
He'll be very happy. He'll be very happy with that.
I'm telling you.
But
what he gonna do? What he gonna do? He gonna do for money in the meantime.
Yo, he could
Him
fight.
and Malik Scott gonna have a joint OnlyFans page together.
He could do a whole bunch of. Yo, man, listen. He could fight like another dude that's like in the top 15. Knock that dude out, whatever. Get a little bread and wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about Malik. Malik, boxing is what it is because of people like Malik and Derek Chisora. Without Malik and Derek Chisora, boxing would be a boring place. No, but listen. It really all depends on the language, the terminology, and what's written in the contract. They do, and they have to say, well, Josh was like, okay, I'm going to fight Pulev, and Tyson Fury's like, I'm going to fight Joshua. They're obligated to do so. But now they also have a contract to fight each other in 2021. If these fights can't take place, Joshua Pulev, and we'll get into that, it's still on. And I don't know where they're going to do it, if they're going to be able to do it. But with this whole Wilder situation, there are extenuating circumstances at times that would allow a contract to be broken. And that's what Andy Ruiz was trying to use at the time when he was saying how Saudi Arabia has human rights violations and things of that nature, and he didn't want to go there. He was trying to use an extenuating circumstance to break the contract or get more money. Yeah. So you can use extenuating circumstances to break a contract, and if the court finds it, then they can allow it. So, like I said, it's all there's a little wiggle room. But yes, typically when you sign on that dotted line, it's gonna take something, like I said, unforeseeable or a dire situation like this global pandemic to break a contract.
So, Kaden, I got a question then. So, if in fact they terminate the contract, does that mean Dillian Whyte now is just automatically up next? Like Fury's gonna have to fight Dillian this year, or is it still like, hey, you know what, you have to still wait till after the Fury Joshua fight?
Well, the only way they'll terminate Wilder and Fury is if the fight can't take place.
Mm-hmm.
due to the pandemic. Now, the money talk, what Trill's talking about, is something different. Yes, if they're like, oh, please take a pay cut because Wilder should be like, I got a contract. Fury should be like, I got a contract. You agree to pay me this money. I want this money. Whatever you got to do to give me this money. If I fight, I'm not fighting for anything less than this money. But that's not the route that I think that they would take to try to cancel the contract. The route that they would take would be due to and it's accurate. You know, it's really fair. Due to the pandemic, no one can go watch the fights, so they get no gate money. Right? You can't assure that this gate money, it really won't. Because even if everyone that will go to the fight buys the pay-per-view, what happens to the $1,000 tickets? You know how much money you're losing from the floor seats? So basically, there is unforeseeable loss that the promotional companies would take. At the time they entered into the contract in good faith, they offered this money in good faith. They calculated revenue generated from the gate, from concessions, from people sleeping in hotels, booking flights, all types of stuff. That's not going to happen. So it really is a realistic thing that people are going to have to consider. It would put the promotional companies in a very bad situation if you proceed and have to pay them the purses they were offered, because at the time you consider things that are no longer available due to no fault of your own or anyone. And it's not anyone's fault really. So
sucks for the fighters who get punched in the face. Have to have to go through this.
It looks like Ned.
I believe this is a blessing in disguise for Wilder.
It looks like Ned has something to say. Go ahead.
I want to say, only way this fight, knowing how headstrong Wilder can be, this fight may still happen if he wants to get his little green belt back. But I would hope, like, you know, the network.
Say, give me 20,000. Let's make this happen.
I'm gonna get my belt back.
Stepping over $1 to pick up a penny. So
worse, man.
What is it?
Give me 20 racks. Let's make it happen.
I would hope the promotional network companies would have something in that clause,
in a free outfit,
clause to avoid it if something like this was to happen, like the pandemic or a crisis.
That's why I said there might be something in the contract that says that.
And plus, they got lawyers, man. They got lawyers, enough lawyers.
Insurance and all types of stuff. I don't know, because like I said, I would have to see it, read it, and then let you know. But there are ways around it, and I don't know. So, but whatever's in there would have to be. But it was on G. You went Trill.
Yeah, it's on Ned.
Ned, yeah. So go ahead, Ned.
Yeah, now that's basically what I was saying. Maybe they like. Only way this could happen if Deontay really wants it to happen. Probably won't happen. Barry Hearn's made some great points. Like, a lot of people going to take hit in this if this fight happens. And at this point, with everything going on, I don't think anybody wants to see a third fight. And it's best for Deontay to take some time off or take a tune-up, work on his skills, stay in the lab, and see if he could get an opportunity a second time around, catch a second win after Undisputed.
Which I agree with Ned. But then what happens to Dillian Whyte? Because then I think that would be his window to get in there. You know what I mean? Like,
poor Dillian.
Yeah, but this would be his justification. Like, y'all supposed to have a fight. You Wilder back out, or the fight's not happening. Give me my fight.
It wouldn't be Wilder backing out. Because
no, I'm not. That's not what I meant. I meant the contract has been terminated, right?
But for the reason the reason why the contract would be terminated would prevent Dillian Whyte from being able to have the fight as well.
Oh, can you explain that?
Because it's terminated because of the global pandemic, which is preventing people from showing up to the fight. Now, remember, they entered into the contract 12 months ago, as Barry Hearn was saying. Barry Hearn speaking like logistics from a promoter standpoint. When we entered into this contract, we factored in gate. We factored in concession. We factored in merchandise sales. We factored in all this stuff, right? That's no longer going to be available to us because no one can attend the fight, right? So if no one can attend the fight, that's so much of the profits that's going to be cut in half. It's going to be and you're already taking a risk with pay-per-view. And remember, they lost on the last pay-per-view because they didn't break even. So now you're going to you're not going to have a gate. You're not going to have live money coming in. And you're going to take another risk on pay-per-view. What he's saying is at the time they entered into the contract, they factored all that stuff in. by no fault of the promoters, meaning the promoters are not failing to provide their fair share. They're not failing to live up to their responsibilities of the deal, and neither are the fighters. Just the fact that there's a virus and a pandemic that's preventing people from going to the event, that's going to keep them from making the money that they originally projected in the contract they entered into good faith. So that terminates the contract, right? So if that terminates the contract, and Dillian Whyte's going to pop up and say, well, now I should get the fight. If no one can still come to the fights, if they still can't have the fights, if they still can't make the money to pay the appropriate person. Remember, Dillian Whyte's the guy who had a chance to fight Joshua, but he didn't like the money he was going to make, right? So if he didn't like the money he was going to make then, he's definitely not going to like it now, right? So they can't pay you the type of money they would pay you if there was a live crowd alive. So what is he going to do? He's going to say, okay, Dillian Whyte, I'm willing to take a tremendous pay cut to fight Tyson Fury. Well, you think Tyson Fury's going to take a pay cut to fight him? Man, it just doesn't make any sense.
I see what you're saying, but I think you were speaking from the promoter's point of view. I'm talking about the WBC, right, the governing body. Like, if they see now that there's no contract, or the contract has been terminated between Wilder and Fury for the trilogy, and they have a ranking system that they have Dillian Whyte as the mandatory, wouldn't Suleiman be obligated to say, all right, Fury, you have to fight Dillian Whyte. That has to be your next fight. You can't jump over Dillian to fight Joshua.
Because what happens to Deontay? Deontay just disappears?
I don't. That's why I'm posing the question. So I don't know. Because if you can't have the trilogy, then what is the WBC supposed to do?
Well, for starters, the WBC's on the record saying that they prefer undisputed over a mandatory. One. And two,
You be crooks. You right.
And two, Deontay Wilder, he's not for, like, it's a tough situation because they were going to allow it. He has a right to the rematch. He has a right to the rematch. He exercised his right to the rematch. It would be by no fault of his own that he's losing the right to the rematch, basically. And that's why Barry Hearn's saying unless they agree to renegotiate, which they shouldn't, because they were promised that money. So, of course, when they were promised that money, it factored in live gates and everything else. So either they're going to restructure the contract. If they don't restructure the contract, well, then the promoters and the networks are going to have to find another avenue to try to terminate that contract. Now, if they terminate that contract, what you're saying is the contract no longer exists because it's terminated, right? So Wilder's not guaranteed his rematch. So now the WBC is going to say, well, you got to fight Dillian Whyte, or else he's obligated. He has a contract with Joshua for 2021 to fight for undisputed. And Dillian Whyte wasn't going to get his shot anyway until after a certain point. So, like, the whole thing
is messed up because I don't understand. How can you sign another contract when you ain't even fulfilled this obligation of this contract yet? All these contracts is...
Because it wouldn't prevent, because the contract he signed wouldn't prevent him from fighting Deontay Wilder. So, like, remember, their contracts, in the contract with Fury and Joshua, both men have to beat their upcoming opponent. Kubrat Pulev for Joshua and Deontay Wilder for Fury. So as long as they do that, that contract is still valid, right?
But if they can't get that fight done in a timely manner before his contract is supposed to be fighting in 2021, what happens?
Well, that's the point. The contract with Deontay Wilder was by a certain date.
Oh, okay.
They already postponed it. Remember, they already postponed the fight. The fight was supposed to happen, off the top of my head, I can't remember. Remember, it was supposed to happen in like October or something like that. The third fight, the trilogy fight, was supposed to happen in October or something. But then the pandemic hit and Wilder's injured. But that has nothing to do with Wilder's injury, more about the pandemic. So they postponed it. Now, if Wilder can't fight, if they can't fight on that date, now the question is, and they can't fight on that date because of the pandemic, is there still a valid contract? Because the contract had to be terminated by no fault of Wilder, Fury, by their promoters, and by the networks. There was just no way they could make that fight happen because of social distancing, and you have orders from governors of states, and they can try to find a place that would allow them to have that fight and make all the money. But the point is, if it doesn't happen by a certain time, and at some point you might just have to terminate the contract because it can't be fulfilled, and it can't be fulfilled by no fault of any party involved. Just the fact that a virus is sweeping the country, or sweeping the world, really. So it's an interesting thing, man.
You got me even more confused, bro. I'm being.
Why you need a lawyer?
How
Handle your contracts.
I'm still wondering, like, does
That's why you need a lawyer.
have the right to flex and be like, give me that fight, you know?
We can
Like,
try. Why? I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. But what I'm saying to you is, if a fight was terminated, all right, so hear me out.
Mhm.
All right, I'll just put it like this: I was going to fight Ned.
mhm.
For all the reasons that Fury and Wilder would be terminated, right? The fight with Ned was terminated. And then Trill comes running and says, well, now he got to fight me because I'm the mandatory. Do you not realize my fight just got terminated because we couldn't have it? If I could have a fight, I would be fighting Ned.
But
So now you want me to fight you, Trill?
But like the argument would be, because I think with Wilder and Fury, it's because of the amount of money for the person.
No, the amount of money is irrelevant. The amount of money would be irrelevant. The fight, see, all right, so the amount of money is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is what I would argue if I was an attorney for the networks or the promoters is I would argue that the fight should be terminated, one, because the obligation can't be fulfilled within the time time block that it was negotiated for, one. Two, at the time it was negotiated in good faith, and certain avenues of revenue were taken into consideration. Mm-hmm. And we considered the gate, we considered sale of merchandise, we considered the sale of concession, we considered so many profits. We consider profits from so many different avenues that we won't be able to receive as a result of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Right? So we couldn't afford to pay the purse that we originally agreed to by no fault of our own, right? No fault of the networks, no fault of anyone. It's just this extenuating circumstance swept the world, took the world by storm, right? So the contract would be terminated because there was no way to fulfill the contract. Mm-hmm. They can't even have the fight. They can have the fight in a remote or in a closed environment. But if you do that, you're going to give the promoters a detriment. You're going to give the networks a detriment. You're going to give everyone, because they're not going to be able to make the type of money that they projected, and they relied on that to come up with the figures.
Yo, I get all of that, what you're saying. But I'm talking about from the Dillian Whyte standpoint, but then that brings another issue because Eddie Hearn represents both Dillian and Joshua, so it kind of feels like a conflict of interest.
It's not a conflict of interest because it doesn't involve Eddie. Eddie is a promoter. So if Dillian Whyte wants to go after Tyson Fury, then that's what Eddie Hearn is supposed to do. And it's not just him, and he has other people. Eddie Hearn is just a promoter. So, but here's what I'm trying to explain to you. I guess like what you're missing. If they terminate a contract because you cannot profit, you can't make maximum profit due to the global situation. Mm-hmm. Why would they force Fury to fight Dillian?
Now, so let me pose a question because that's a good point. But if Dillian could secure a location, I don't know, let's say in somewhere in Saudi Arabia or whatever, where they're like, I know, just walk with me. Saudi Arabia is like, yo, we'll pay for that fight to see Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte. We got the bread. It's nothing for them. That's oil money, right? So they're like,
all right, I have a question. Is there a crowd or no crowd?
A
From a
limited
distance, they
Nah,
can
you
find
pick.
out.
I'll pick either way. Pick
crowd. A
crowd.
limited crowd. I'm going with a limited crowd.
Limited crowd. Okay. And so I'm Tyson Fury. So let me get this straight. You want me to expose myself to a virus? You want me to travel from the UK to Saudi Arabia?
All right, enough said. Once you said exposed to, you got that. But then,
Extenuating circumstance, right? So once
Yo,
again,
G, Dillian ain't never getting
listen,
that
I
green
can't
belt.
believe I'm defending Dillian like that.
He's never getting his green belt.
Yo,
Dillian's never getting that
It's
green
like he'll
belt.
never get that belt, bro. That's what I'm
He
saying.
never getting
so
that
once
belt.
again,
Poor Dillian.
this is one of those scenarios where all the parties really have to want it. Now, see, if you told Tyson Fury to travel to Saudi Arabia to fight Anthony Joshua, the money would be right? So money right, I'm there at night. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury would be there. Anthony Joshua would be there. You know what? We'll take all the risk for that bread. You telling him to go there to fight Dillian Whyte? He has a legitimate reason not to go. I'm afraid that I might catch a disease that has killed thousands, hundreds of thousands of people across the world. I am not subjecting myself to that. You can't force him to do that.
No facts. All right.
But he'll voluntarily do it to fight AJ.
I just want to say this, G. After they offer Dillian his reduced purse and all the promotional companies and networks take their hand out of it, he'd be like, I'm better off being an essential worker after seeing that check.
All right, we just need to move on. This went crazy. G.
Yeah, we gave Dillian enough shine. You know what I mean?
You don't went crazy over Dillian, man. I think.
Man, I was just like, this is his window right now, window opportunity. You know?
He's trying to make up for all the bad things he said.
I done brought them Dillian.
Dillian, the fight's just not gonna happen, man.
Hey, man.
Children already told Dillian what it is. You know what?
They don't like you.
I feel like we can move on though, because the next topic, G kind of jumped the gun.
Oh, did I? Pardon me.
Well, it's all right because we talked about it. Was Fury hints he dropped the WBC title, not interested in fighting Dillian Whyte.
Oh, now we need to talk about this because I got a conspiracy theory.
You got more? Gee, you done turned into the #1 Dillian Whyte advocate.
Not even.
And I'm just
about Fury. This is more about Fury with this topic.
All right. So here it is. If the WBC attempts to pressure Fury to give Whyte his mandatory shot, the unbeaten champion warns that his status as lineal is more important than the world title. There is also a realistic scenario of the WBC making Fury a franchise champion and then elevating Whyte, who holds the interim title, to full champion. I'm about fighting the biggest fights. This is a quote from Tyson Fury. I'm about fighting the biggest fights out there, and Wilder, Joshua are the biggest fights out there. Dillian Whyte is looking for a payday against me, and Pulev is looking for a payday. All these challengers are not sellable, especially in America, so I'm looking to do colossal fights, the last few fights I have left. I want them to be the biggest possible fights, Fury said to Queensberry's Lockdown show. It won't be a belt or an organization dictating to anybody because no one has ever dictated to the champion. These low-profile fighters don't mean a thing to me. I'm after the biggest fights available. I'm a proud WBC champion, but at the end of the day, I'm the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, which trumps everything. Belts are just pieces of leather with pieces of metal on them, and they don't mean anything to me. Dillian Whyte is a one-hit wonder, and he's been knocked out by Anthony Joshua already. The answer to Dillian Whyte is wait in the queue, and your time will come when it comes. I'm not really interested in you. If he thinks he's going to call me a few names on social media and I'm going to turn down a $100 million payday, then he's got a long wait. All right? Go ahead, G. You got so much to say about it. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, boxing scene stole my conspiracy theory. You know what I mean? Because I was like, the WBC, we be crooks. He's just going to make him a franchise champ. But then when I think about it, I don't think Eddie Hearn and AJ will agree to that because you can't be undisputed with a franchise belt, you know? So, well, at least I'm in regards to AJ. If AJ beats Tyson Fury, AJ doesn't inherit that franchise belt. So another poor Dillian.
How can you make a man who's never defended the belt one time a franchise champion?
Right.
As much as I know that Wilder can't box, he has more of an argument for franchise champion than Tyson Fury.
Talking about the Mexican Sultan Solomon. We be the cartel, bro. They can do it when they want, apparently. You know what I mean? So, it just sucks because I want, Fury and Joshua for undisputed. But if they're if Fury, and I'm being honest with you, I'm gonna be 100. If I was a boxer, I would be just like Tyson Fury. The belts don't make me. Like, I'm beyond these belts. To me, these are trinkets. Y'all can strip them. You can strip me. I don't care. It's whatever. But I know that Joshua wants to be undisputed. Joshua is like, he's going after the belts, right?
Fury wants to be undisputed too. Don't let all that fool you.
No, I agree. But I'm going based off of what he just said. So they're quoting him. So I've never heard Joshua say, that the belts don't matter. I'm bigger than the belts, this and the third. He's never said that. Fury, however, is saying this. And we know Fury in the past, after he beat Klitschko, he's just like, it is what it is. And he just gave up. He relinquished all the belts and all of that stuff. So I believe Fury, he's the type of dude that would give it up again. Like, he's like, I don't need to fight Dillian. Why would I fight Dillian for peanuts when I could get the big payday? That makes sense. Like, I can't even hate on that. That's a pretty good argument. So then I just feel like the WBC might try to create another franchise champion, man. That's what it seems like it's about to happen.
All right, Trill.
People in the comment section, if you want the WBC audits to happen, just view how y'all feel in the comment section. Be like, we want the audits of the WBC. With that being said, we're gonna audit the WBC. You know what I'm saying? If y'all would like that, go to the comments.
In the comments, you've already been asking us to do it.
Oh yeah, they had, huh? Oh yeah.
I need to audit the WBC,
because they need it. They definitely need it.
Some audits to get you killed.
Cartel.
Yeah, maybe we need to stay away from the WBC. Then we need to stay away from it. Tyson Fury has been watching Boxing Bros. He watched the episode of Lennox Lewis and the Riddick Bowe. And he's going to try to pull a page of the Riddick Bowe and take it out the trash if you want it.
Yo, I can see it. I can see it now. If they try to give Tyson Fury one of those ultimatums, no way you can find this.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. You're not going to tell Tyson Fury what to do. And he feels like he's bigger than the belts. I'm not even going to mention the whole franchise. These guys is on. Like I said before, there should be only one franchise champion in boxing, and his name is Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
But back to this. Listen, Tyson's right. If he wants to get rid of that belt because they want to force him to fight a Dillian Whyte, which they're not going to do. Dillian, fall back. It's not going to happen. She doesn't like you. She's just not into you. It's not going to happen for you, bro. No matter what. They're not going to create no fictional belts. They're just going to tell Dillian Whyte to keep holding on and holding on. He's going to keep holding on. And that's basically how I see it. The WBC, they're going to hold on. They want to undisputed it. They want that AJ money. They want that. It's not gonna happen. That's poor Dillian. That's all I gotta say. Is poor Dillian.
Dillian gonna get that in the email.
Y'all are tripping though, kind of to me. Like I'll save my piece for next. Go ahead, Ned.
Yo, I agree with Trez, yo. It's to the point. Dillian's going to call up WBC. He's going to go to voicemail. He's going to email. He's going to get automated messages sent back to him. It's like they're going to put him on hold for now, yo. It's like, it's not going
to. Not to jump in on you, Ned, but just to add to what you're saying, because I feel where you was coming from. Yeah. Even if Tyson Fury gives up the belt, Still,
Might not even email Dillian for the opportunity. That'd be crazy.
he's not even gonna think. I'm like, we emailed him. He didn't get it.
And also, due to Fury, like if they didn't force Wilder to step in the ring with Whyte, they're not gonna make Fury do it. And at the end of the day, why I don't see why I don't think the WC would jeopardize like undisputed or a big fight like what's going to happen just to see him fight Dillon, just to make him fight mandatory. If they didn't do it for Wilder, they're not gonna do it for Fury. And it's poor Dillian. it's sad, honestly. He's getting the runaround. He's looking for that fight, but everywhere he goes, he can't seem to fight it. What was it? What movie was it? Oh man, I forgot what the movie was, but he kept looking for the guy, and the guy kept just disappearing. He go find him. He sent him to one place, give him a runaround. That's just what Dillian's going through right now. But yeah.
I don't know what movie you're talking about.
I don't know, but it was a movie. I forgot. I can't even think of the name right now. It'll come to me.
Y'all are tripping for a few reasons. One, let's get this straight. We need Undisputed. We need Undisputed for a few reasons. One, Lennox Lewis retired with the lineal heavyweight status. In 2004, when Lennox Lewis retired, he was the lineal heavyweight champion. No one beat him. So when he retired, that was it. Vladimir Klitschko became the lineal heavyweight champion by beating, I can't remember the guy's name, like Surkov or something like that. I don't know. He became the lineal champ. That's how he became the lineal champ. So Lennox retired. Right? Vladimir Klitschko fought, I think he was like the number 3 contender at the time to become the lineal champ. That's the accolade that Tyson Fury's running around saying he has right now. And I'll respect it, but really we never had an undisputed champion since, because Vladimir Klitschko refused to fight his brother, Vitaly Klitschko. So you have Vladimir Klitschko with belts. You have Vitaly Klitschko with belts. If they would have just fought each other to become undisputed, we would know who's the man again. For years, we haven't known who's the man, because once Lennox retired, there was Vladimir Klitschko, there was Vitaly Klitschko. So Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fighting one another, what that's going to do is it's going to bring all the belts together and the status. It's going to bring undisputed and lineal together. And once that happens, moving forward, we will always know who the man is again. Unless Fury or Joshua retires with it, and then it'll be up in the air and again. So this is the first time that we've actually had a fight announced where there's undisputed in the lineal heavyweight title on the line. But when Tyson Fury says he's the lineal, it's really a matter of, okay, but you're not really the man who beat the man, because the man is Lennox Lewis. So if Lennox Lewis comes out of retirement like Mike Tyson, Lennox is going to start calling himself the lineal champ? No, what I'm getting at is we need this undisputed fight, because it's going to solidify this generation. It's going to make this generation like it was in the old days. Trill says this all the time. This is the golden era of boxing. And one of the reasons is we haven't had the undisputed. We haven't had the lineal. We haven't had the guy at the top division in the heavyweight division. We haven't had that the way we used to in the past. There was always that guy. There was Mike was undisputed. Evander was undisputed. Lennox was undisputed. Riddick Bowe was undisputed. We always had an undisputed. That's the way it was. That's why boxing was exciting. We always knew that's the baddest man on the planet. That's the baddest man on the planet. Now we got guys who want to create the illusion of being the baddest man on the planet without ever proving it. Well, finally, we got two guys who are willing to prove it. That's why this fight needs to happen. And this is why I'm saying you guys are crazy for what you're saying about the WBC. I respect the WBC because the WBC is all about that money. You know what the WBC is going to do. Whatever makes dollars makes sense to the WBC. And I'm okay with an organization like that. I know what they did to Riddick Bowe. I think what they did to Riddick Bowe was messed up. But that's one isolated scenario. I think they should have made Devin Haney fight someone for the belt instead of just giving it to him. I mean, pick someone. Pick the number 5 contender, whatever. Let him fight for the belt. Let him win it in the ring at least. Don't give him the belt. Don't give anybody the belt. Let him fight in the ring for it. If you want him to have it, pick the number 10 contender. You know, you do what you did for Deontay. Do that for the guy. You know? Let him fight a mandatory that's been sitting down for 2 years. You know, and I'm telling you, they pulled my man Bermain Stavern from a Haitian compa night. You know, my man was just chilling. He was sitting back like with his hands on his gut like this. He had the cremas. He was like, yeah. The WBC hit him up. They gave Bermain Stavern his phone. He said, oh, the rematch. Okay. Bermain got off the phone, did 2 push-ups.
Hello.
Bermain. Oh, that's what I said. Oh. Next week. Next week. Bermain.
Oh, but you forgot the heavy breathing. Next week.
He did 2 push-ups and said, F it, bring more steak. I'm going to lose anyway. So do that. Bring like one of those guys and let them fight for the title. Don't just give them the title. But I wish in many ways these organizations would work together to keep an undisputed champion. Mm-hmm. I see, you know, as a youngster, I didn't quite understand why these champions would just get rid of the undisputed status so quickly. Being undisputed shouldn't be such a burden. It should be a prestige honor that you're able to celebrate and walk around with all these belts, but all these sanctioning bodies just want the money. How are you going to tell Joshua you got to fight Pulev, you got to fight Alexander Usyk, you got to fight all that? Nobody cares about those guys. We want Fury. How are you going to tell Fury you got to fight Dillian Whyte? We like Dillian, respect to Dillian, but we want to see him fight Joshua. You guys can't put this nonsense on hold and let undisputed happen for the sake of the sport. Like, once they become undisputed, the sanctioning body should pick the same guy as mandatory. Pick the same guy as mandatory. They'll pay you all the sanctioning fees. I know what it is. They want, okay, everybody wants to be undisputed. Okay, put these guys in a line. Say, WBO, you want them to fight Usyk, you want them to fight Dillian Whyte, you want them to fight Pulev. Okay, here's the plan, right? You fight a voluntary, you fight 2 mandatories. You fight a voluntary, you fight 2 mandatories. And would it hurt for them to agree on the mandatory?
Or just do like a Super 6 for the heavyweight division. You know, all the 4 sanctioning bodies, 5 if you want to include the IBO, and then be like, hey, yo, listen, all you guys in like the top 3 or whatever of each sanctioning body, y'all gonna bang it out, you know, and whoever's the victor gets to fight the guy who's
That's a great idea, G. I like that. Y'all pick who you think is your mandatory guy, give them a tournament, and then they get to, and every year do it. Mm-hmm. Every year do it. And then bam, that'll be beautiful because everyone will know who's the top guys. Oh, those are the 4 top contenders. They're about to bang it out, right? And then whoever wins this turn, they're gonna fight the undisputed champion. But like, let's revamp the system because people are losing interest in the sport of boxing. Not like boxing is dying, like they're trying to say, but like we don't have the casual fans that we used to because we're doing so much nonsense. Just make it like that. But I do agree with Tyson Fury. He's bigger than the belt now. Josh was bigger than the belt too. But for the sake of boxing and making these belts matter again, we do need Undisputed because we could have the lineal and we can have Undisputed. We can have it all match. We can create that one guy who's definitively the man because there's always been a debate. Vitali had WBC. Klitschko had the other belts. They never fought each other. And Vladimir Klitschko couldn't get the WBC because when Vitali retired, it went to other people, and he never got his hands on it. So this is what we need to bring the status, to bring alignment back to the heavyweight division. And that's why the world should want this. But,
Yo, but I think we all agree on that. Though I think the real underlying issue is Tyson Fury's looking at Dillian Whyte like, bro, you're not even worth fighting. So let's just say Tyson Fury hypothetically becomes undisputed. Will Tyson Fury give Dillian Whyte an opportunity to become the undisputed champ?
Because he's the biggest fight out there.
He's like, if he's making an argument that, yo, Dillian's a nobody, no one knows him in the U.S., he's not a big name, I don't need to take this fight, what's going to happen then? Now we're watching another situation where Dillian is still poor Dillian.
What he said wasn't that he wouldn't fight Dillian from what I read. He said there's $100 million fight in place right now, and he's going to fight the biggest fights for the most money. Mm-hmm. So if Dillian Whyte is the best fight, then I think he'd take the fight. But
basically, Dillian gotta up his profile. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because right now Tyson Fury trying to get this bread. So if you still around after he gets this bread, then maybe you can get it on. But in between time, you should be trying to raise your profile. Mm-hmm. Because nobody knows of a Dillian Whyte. He's trying to get that bread, and rightfully so.
You know what Dillian should do? Dillian should fight Big Baby Miller. Because although he may not be as known, he is a U.S. fighter. If he can't get Wilder, and it seems like Wilder's not going to fight Dillian, fight Big Baby Miller in the United States and knock this dude out to raise your U.S. profile. So that way,
you become a major advocate for Dillian Whyte out of nowhere.
Nah, I'm just saying, like, yo, I don't even know why I'm doing this, man. Maybe I woke up wrong on the bed or something this morning.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I appreciate what it is. I think it's because our trip to the UK's coming up soon. That's what it is.
He's more afraid of going to the UK than that is of going to the Philippines. I'm already Dillian, I told you this before. You didn't listen to me. Now, Dillian, I actually like you. I think you should get your shot, but not over Undisputed. Like I said, Undisputed is necessary. If anything, Dillian, you should be honored to step aside, let Undisputed happen, and then fight because we're going to have demand. Finally, for years, we haven't had demand. Even in Klitschko's 10-year reign, we never had demand. That's what I keep trying to explain to everyone. Because we never had the lineal status and Undisputed together creating the man after Lennox Lewis retired. Lennox retired with the status. Okay, but Vladimir Klitschko fought for it. But then there was his brother who was another bad man who had the WBC and they never fought each other. Who would win that fight? We still don't know. But if we would have found out and then someone would have beat them, then we would know who's the man, but we never know. It's always been up in the air. So Dillian, for the sake of boxing and you actually being respected, move back. Let this happen and then come, and then you can really be the baddest man on the planet. Wilder, you could really be the baddest man on the planet. Undisputed, no denying it. Even I couldn't cherry pick your resume. I couldn't pick it apart. If you beat one of those guys when they're undisputed, that's what undisputed means. You should look it up. Maybe you don't know what it means. Look up the word. And then no one could dispute it. Anyways, getting back to what I'm trying to say, Dillian, I told you how to become a star. I told you. Fight Marcelos Wilder. Get Marcelos Wilder in the ring and destroy him.
He already got destroyed.
Over his body and say, Wilder, if you don't avenge this, you're a punk. Call him all the names. Knock Marcelos Wilder out and dare Wilder to fight you. Dare Deontay Wilder to fight you. Do that, and you'll become more popular, and everyone's going to be looking at Wilder like, what you going to do? What you going to do? That's the American way. That's the American way. Okay?
Or a more diplomatic approach. I got another. Whyte, Usyk. You know what I mean? Because both of y'all.
Usyk could be a fool to fight him.
You know what I mean? Like, it'll be, that's true too.
I wouldn't advise. You're doing so much to try to help Dillian, you forget.
Yeah.
If I'm Usyk's advisor, I wouldn't have. Usyk, you're already in line. Why would you fight Dillian? You're already in line for a title shot.
Yo, Dillian, I tried, brother. I tried.
Yo, stop trying to help Dillian. You hurt Dillian. Dillian, Marcelos, that should be your guy. Marcelos Wilder and beat her. That's what you should do. That's what you should do. Okay.
Well, go to where Wilder from again?
Alabama.
Alabama. Go to Alabama. Make a whole campaign pulling like a Shannon the Cannon, just following Wilder around. You know what I mean? Like,
don't do that. That'll end ugly. Those two guys, that'll end ugly.
But I guarantee
don't do that.
That fight, they'll get that fight.
Get that fight because they'll both be effed up after that. They won't even make it to the fight. Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's looking for a Clarissa Shields situation.
Oh yeah.
With, Brashear all over again. You don't.
You
want that. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next topic.
Spent a lot of time on Dillian just now.
That's all G's fault.
It's been long overdue.
It's like G just had an epiphany. He was just being hard on Dillian, and he just decided.
You know what it is? It's just Fury. The way Fury talking about it, I'm like, bruh, like this is just crazy. You know. Even though I actually understand Fury's point of view, it's just, Dillian seeming like he ain't never gonna get a shot till like 2023. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to speed up the process. That's all.
Hey man, undisputed. All right, mother shit. So Bob Arum
still stunting. Look at
that. Anthony Joshua has a chinny chin chin. Now look at Bob Arum with these ring girls. Oh, it's like I got the Cialis in the car. Don't play it.
Looking like he's
yo, real fast. I thought that was Andy Ruiz. Real fast.
So here's what it says. Bob Arum has stated his strong belief that Kubrat Pulev, who he promotes, will defeat Anthony Joshua when the two finally fight by KO. The top-ranked boss believes Pulev, a very tough Bulgarian, is too strong for Joshua in that he hits harder than Andy Ruiz. Ruiz, of course, shattered Joshua's chin a little over a year ago, stopping him in the 7th round to take the belts. I'm just looking for the direct quote. Here we go. All right. Bob Arum said, speaking about the announcement of the fight, Arum said, in his opinion, last week's announcement regarding Fury versus Joshua was not real news. I didn't look at it as being real news, Bob Arum said. Joshua has a fight before the end of the year with my guy, Kubrat Pulev, a very tough Bulgarian. And Tyson has a third fight to do with Wilder, and that is not an easy fight. So again, sure, if they come through these fights, why not? Why wouldn't we get together and do a 2-fight deal for Fury versus Joshua? Joshua has a chinny chin, and he can get knocked out by Andy Ruiz, who can't punch. Look at Andy's record. He fought all of his fights with us. So basically, Bob Arum is saying he believes Kubrat Pulev is going to knock Anthony Joshua out. He believes this because he hits harder than Andy Ruiz, and he didn't look at the announcement of the 2-fight deal for Undisputed as breaking news because he believes Kubrat Pulev is going to beat Anthony Joshua. Let me let Ned get in on this. Ned, what you got to say about
I was gonna ask to go first too. Yo, it look like Bob Arum living his best life right now, man. He want all the smoke, he want everything before his time's up, man. But shout out to Bob, man. And it's all about the sport, man. He's talking his mess. He's just talking, he's supporting his fighters. He don't like Joshua, and it's just to knock him, But it's not it's all propaganda, you know, for boxing. But Bob Arum, we'll see when the fight happens. Who's chinning, yo? You know, Kubrat Pulev. You know, I can't wait to see this fight happen, man. Because these guys, man, they talk a lot. They talk a whole lot of mess, and it's good for the sport. That's all.
All right, true.
This is why Bob got decades and decades upon decades of years in the sport.
You forgot another decade.
Decades. Because he knows how to promote. He knows his job. He knows what he's doing. He says all the right words. Bob Arum is the promoter of the decades.
Everybody already knows that.
No,
he's not really though. But go ahead.
Yeah, you know, he's been around for a long time, and this is the reason why. He knows what to say, and he knows how to promote his fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows how to promote the fights. I can't say nothing bad. Hey, about the whole being chinny chin chin, he better watch out, because Ruiz, I don't know if he was watching the fight, and Bob need to get closer to the fights, because AJ didn't get hit on the chinny chin chin. He got hit in the back of the ear to ear, you know? And that's how. And if he's, listen, you don't, this is boxing. You don't judge, you know, with one fighter against another fighter, because that never happens the same. You know, like when one person eats doesn't make another person go to the bathroom. So what it worked for Andy Ruiz doesn't necessarily mean that it would work for Pulev. Pulev needs to watch out if he's thinking that he's gonna go in there and fight this be looking to beat up on this AJ. He better watch out before he gets hurt. Next thing you know, he's gonna be looking up. But I think that Bob Arum says what he's supposed to say. He can't throw Pulev under the bus already and be like, you know what, y'all right. You know, after AJ mops my fighter up, my other fighter's gonna take care of him. You know, he can't say that. So he gotta hold his man down, and that's exactly what he was doing. That's how I feel. Shout out to Bob. I see you, Bob. You know? Bob, I see you, Bob.
All right, G.
Yeah. Before I give my opinion on this, I was trying to look for this comment that I seen this morning on Boxing Bros, one of our supporters. They wrote, which I thought was hilarious. But they were talking about Don King. They were like, Don King's still alive because heaven and hell don't want him, right? And I was like, yo, that's how I feel about Bob Arum. You know what I mean? And, salute to whoever wrote that. I apologize. Try to find it so I can shout you out, but I just can't find it right now. But
I thought it was like BOP or something like that.
All right, word. Yeah, salute to that one. You know what I mean? But in regards to Pulev, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I actually don't want to see that fight between AJ and Pulev, and this is the reason why. When Pulev fought Klitschko, that fight was boring. Like, for real. I do not like Pulev's style at all. Like, and this is where I disagree with Bob Arum. Pulev does great against stationary fighters. But if this is the AJ that we've seen against Ruiz in the rematch, I see Pulev having a lot of difficulty against that type of AJ. And so, but Pulev, I don't know. I don't like that style of your guard being this far away from your face and you're leaning so back because you know the guy is not going to really attack you. You know, like, I don't see AJ doing that type of style that benefits Pulev. So to pretty much just dismiss Joshua in favor of your guy, I get it. That's your boxer you're promoting. But let's just be realistic, man. Like, Pulev ain't popping like you talking, you know? And not to mention, we watched AJ take real shots from Klitschko and kept getting up. You know what I'm saying? He ate those shots. Those are clean, clear shots. So I'm like, to say that this dude has no chin or he has a chinny chin, all that, man, it's just all fluff, bro. And that's why I was like, I get it. No one knows your man Pulev. No one knows this dude from a hole in the wall. You know, he's the man in Germany or whatever, but he's nothing here in the States. I don't even think he's popping in the UK like that either. You know, so Bob is just screaming from the mountaintops, trying to sell his mans. But we all know if AJ does fight Pulev, man, ain't really gonna sell like that. You know what I mean? The UK, obviously, they support no matter who you fight. So they're gonna go to the fight. But I think that's where the buck stops. And I don't even believe in this Pulev power like that. Not saying he doesn't have power, he does. But to say he has more power than Ruiz, it's possible. I don't know. I mean, you are taller. But I don't think he's going to land like that on AJ. That's the thing. Because the way the styles are, I just don't see that happening. And to me, I'll be so disappointed in AJ if he loses to this dude. Like, this guy's been inactive for like 3 years, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if AJ loses to Pulev, man, then salute to Pulev. But I just don't see it, man.
Bob Arum. I mean, Trill thinks he's a good promoter. I don't. I think sometimes you just inherit so much, and you have been.
I didn't say good. I say you know what to say. You know what to say.
I give him that, but I mean, sometimes I guess because I get. But my thing is, when you look at where boxing was when he started, in the position he was in when boxing started, in the position he's in now, it tells me he's really been slipping. And he's had the decades upon decades upon decades. So how do you lose it? I'll give you an example. McDonald's was one of the first fast food chains. And here we are in 2020, McDonald's is still thriving. And you have these chains, they're not getting worse and worse and worse to the point where some food joint just opened up and is threatening to take them out. What you have is Bob Arum. But you think of Eddie Hearn and you say, well, Eddie Hearn's probably above Bob Arum right now in terms of his crop of fighters and what he's doing. You think of Al Heyman and you say, well, Al Heyman's probably above him right now. You think of his position and how he's declined. Even you look at Don King. These are guys we're talking about promoted Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm.
So the position they had on the game and where they are now tells me you've been slacking. You should have been growing and growing and growing and growing. But they didn't do that. Mainly because he's talking about Andy Ruiz like Andy Ruiz is some scrub. He wasn't a scrub when you signed him. What made you sign him, Bob? Tell me. You signed a scrub? That's what you did? Nah, he wasn't a scrub when you signed him. He's a scrub now because he played you. He bought himself out of his deal, went over to Al Heyman and became champion. So you gave up on a champion. You know, when you were promoting Manny Pacquiao, he was so much better than Floyd. He was so much greater than Floyd, and you were calling Floyd a scrub, and you were saying how Pacquiao was going to beat him. Why are you so mad at Floyd, Bob? Oh, because Floyd bought himself out of his deal and became the richest athlete in the world. The decade, really, Forbes has him as number one, although we know Forbes' credibility, but we do know that Floyd was the highest paid athlete when he was fighting and he was active. And all it took was him buying out his contract from you to become the person that everyone who puts on a pair of gloves aspires to be, but doesn't want to put in the work, doesn't realize. People don't even remember that he was under a deal with you, Bob, getting screwed and being thrown in terrible fights. People don't even remember that because of how big he became once he bought himself out of a contract with you. So let me get this straight. Andy Ruiz buys himself out of a contract with you, becomes the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. Floyd buys himself out of a contract with you and becomes the richest boxer in the history of the sport. Oscar De La Hoya leaves you and starts a promotional company, which is bigger than yours now. And, oh, yeah, the Manny Pacquiao that you were parading around saying could beat Floyd Mayweather, now you hating on him. Now you wouldn't advise Manny Pacquiao to fight Triple G and he'd be dumb and Terrence Crawford would beat Manny Pacquiao. Isn't it ironic? Oh, so now that I've pointed out all the fluff and stuff that you say, Bob Arum, let's go to your comments about Kubrat Pulev knocking out Anthony Joshua. Because if Andy Ruiz can do it and Andy Ruiz doesn't hit hard. Andy Ruiz doesn't hit hard. It's not what Evander Holyfield said. That's not what everyone was saying after the first fight with Anthony Joshua going into the second fight. You would have thought the dude was the second coming of Iron Mike. Everyone was like, oh, don't take that fight, Joshua. Don't do that, Joshua. Even you said it, Bob. Forgot that? You were against it, Bob. Now that he wins now it's all whatever. Here's the deal. Andy Ruiz was able to catch Joshua because of speed. Speed. He has the fastest hands in the division. Slow guys hit Joshua. They may hurt him or land a buzzing shot, but they don't knock him out. Vladimir Klitschko, Dillian Whyte, Alexander Povetkin. Those are guys I see hit Anthony Joshua with a good shot. He didn't look chinny then. They buzzed him. Klitschko dropped him. He got up because they don't have the speed that Andy Ruiz has. Joshua can exchange with those guys. And you saw what happened when he clipped Ruiz, didn't you? He hit the deck. The difference is Ruiz can get there first. You don't trade with a guy like that. You're slow, robotic, Kabret Pulev, reporter kissing behind. You think that was a slow kiss and he throw a slow punch. So you sitting here thinking he's going to exchange with AJ? He may have more power. Was the first thing I told G when he was throwing all his punches as hard as he can. What good is it if you can't land it? What good is it? What good is that harder punch than Ruiz if you can't land it? Ruiz can land his, though. And it's not just about how hard you can hit, but it's punch placement. When you hear Nate Jones talk about Floyd Mayweather with the body shots, and they're like, oh, how hard does he hit? He said the champ got popped. But it's not about how hard he hits. It's about where he hits. Andy Ruiz got that. So you keep laughing and talking about Andy Ruiz. Let me ask everyone this question. Who would you favor in a fight, Andy Ruiz or Kabret Pulev?
My money on Ruiz. I'll put a bet.
Ruiz.
That's
Like I was, that's what I was saying.
Bob.
Bob is saying what he's supposed to say.
Exactly.
And that's why I said, Bob, listen, I'm not saying, like you said, Bob has made some mistakes, but he's still here. Bob has made a lot of crazy mistakes, big mistakes, let a lot of people go. But Bob is still here. Bob is the McDonald's. We don't see the Eddie Hearns, the Al Haymans, the Popeye sandwich, the Chick-fil-A. What was that? The taco place that opened up. But McDonald's is still here. Even though you got these other places that's opening up, you still want to go and get a Big Mac or a Happy Meal from McDonald's. Bob is still here because he knows
about McDonald's and Bob right now.
You were talking food, brother. You were talking food. You was talking food. I was like, hold on. But I agree with you. Bob is not perfect, but Bob still has his hands on the game, and he knows what to say. He doesn't believe that Pulev has a shot in beating AJ. I don't believe that in a sec. I don't think he, but I know he knows smart enough to say otherwise. Because let's just say something happens. AJ slips on some ice in the corner, sprains his ankle, and Pulev hits him with a shot, and he goes down. I believed in you the whole time. I told everybody you could do it. He got to stay face.
If that happens, Bob's going to have that smirk on his face. You know the smirk.
Yeah.
The smirk I'm talking about. This one right here. Look at it.
That's that cha-ching smirk.
He's going to be like, I knew it. I knew it the whole time.
I'm telling you, it's wishful thinking, and here's why. Look. Isn't Frank Warren Tyson Fury's promoter? Yes. But so is Bob Arum.
Yep.
And Bob Arum's top rank, which is with ESPN, and that's the American deal that Tyson Fury has. But it's not, he's not the sole promoter for Tyson Fury, like he is for Kubrat Pulev. So to hit the lottery, to hit the jackpot,
Pulev got to be Fury.
Pulev got to be Anthony Joshua, because that's when undisputed would be Bob Arum getting paid both ways.
Bob Arum just wants to keep the lights on now. That's what Bob Arum's just trying to do.
Bob
That's why
Arum,
that's why he got TC.
You compare to McDonald's, should be mad at you, Trill. I want to go to McDonald's. I know you don't eat McDonald's anyway. I can't remember last time I had McDonald's. But if you're driving long distance and you've been driving for 3 miles non-stop and you got to use a restroom, you shouldn't even stop at McDonald's after what you just said. Bob Arum is using tape to put Top Rank down in rings now, and you just compare McDonald's to that. McDonald's bring back the McRib whenever they want.
And everybody want Popeye's chicken sandwiches. You heard G talk about the Popeye chicken sandwiches?
Hey, don't put G on blast like that. Let me do that. Listen, G was like, we were just talking, people started talking about the Popeye chicken sandwich. G was like this. He was like, oh, those sandwiches, bro, I'm trying to tell you. He was like,
hey, man, quarantine.
He was like this.
Hey.
Bob always make sure.
You try it, fellas. Don't knock it till you try it.
Bob always makes sure he got a fighter in every weight class that we talk about.
That is true.
And he made up. He's notorious for making them up.
He makes sure that he makes sure that he always got one in every division that we talk about.
Hey.
From the Shakur Stevensons to the TCs to the Virgil Ortiz to the Joe Ramirez's to the Tyson Furies. He got somebody that we talk about.
Kubrat Pulev, you left him out.
Exactly. That's the only thing we don't talk about in the heavyweight division.
You left out Kubrat, man. What happened?
Yo, you know what's sad? We talk about Stavern more than we do Pulev. That's just crazy, you know? That should tell you something.
I mean,
notable fighters. We only talk about notable fighters. At least Stavern had a belt.
We'll move on in a second, but this is the truth. I know Kubrat Pulev for this. Press conference. Shannon Briggs shows up to the Vladimir Klitschko Kubrat Pulev press conference talking mega trash. And he walks by Kubrat Pulev, and Kubrat Pulev stands up and he goes, "Sit down. You a pie. You a pie. I'll smash him." And Kubrat Pulev sat down. That's what I remember Kubrat Pulev for. Shannon Briggs crashes his press conference, is talking mega smack, and in his face calls him a pie. He stands up, and Shannon Briggs tells him, "Sit down, you a pie." And he just sat down. That's what I remember from Kubrat Pulev.
He was like, he's crazy. He looked at shit. He looked crazy.
He had no shirt on.
This musclehead dude sweating already. Like, he's like,
I know. Shannon was like, "Don't be scared, ladies. I'm just in shape."
Let's go.
Shit is hilarious, man. All right, Trill, we're gonna need you for this. I mean, I watched the fight, but I kind of don't remember it. Boxing returned with Shakur Stevenson on June 9th, and he had a knockout with a body shot, I think.
Yeah,
Trill, what happened in that fight?
Oh yeah, first of all, the night was awesome. Every fight they had didn't go the distance. They started the fight off with the guy Ramirez, I believe, who beat Shakur Stevenson in the Olympics. He beat Shakur in the Olympics. The last one to beat Shakur Stevenson, they started the fight off with him. There's a crazy story about the guy too, Ramirez, because he defected from Cuba and he came and signed the top rank, and in his first professional fight here after defecting from Cuba, he lost. So, and then, he was basically, gaining ground, but he ended up getting a first round knockout. And and then everybody else, knockout after knockout, people were stopping. It was crazy. Even the guy from Contender, named Cash. He ended up knocking a guy out. There's a up-and-coming kid, heavyweight. His name is Antonio Big Baby Anderson. Jared Big Baby Anderson. And there was other heavyweights.
The real Big Baby. That's what they said.
We got
not the steroid Big Baby.
He called himself the real Big Baby. That's how they announced him.
Oh, okay, the real Big Baby. Yeah, this young man. He fought. You know. Yeah, he's the real one. He's the one with nothing in him. That's what he's basically trying to say. All right, I feel him. And he had the whole Patriots get up on. All Patriots out. You know what I'm saying? And he from Toledo, Ohio. But, you know, I don't know why I still remember.
Bro, I asked you about Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah. I was kind of excited. I was just so excited that boxing is back. I was so excited that boxing is back. So let me get to Shakur Stevenson. He fought a wonderful fight. He stopped the guy by a body shot in the 6th round. It was the guy didn't have nothing from him. Shakur was outmatching him. He was outskilled. It was like they just brought this guy. He didn't have no answers. Shakur was doing whatever he wanted to do in there. It was just a matter of time. It was a matter of time if he was going to knock him out from the head or the body. But he got him out of there with a nice little body shot, little liver shot there. He got him out there in the 6th round.
All right. Anybody want to add anything to that?
Well, I do want to add some smoke. So,
okay.
but not to Shakur, to ESPN Plus, because I was like, I knew we was gonna talk about it, right? For the podcast, so I was like, yeah, let me go rewatch the fight. I go on my app and I see it, right? So I click on the damn thing. It tells me I gotta go and select my cable provider, this and the third. So I do all of that, and it doesn't pop up. And I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, bro, why can't ESPN Plus be like the DAZN app, where once the fight happens, they just put it in the library, I can click on it and rewatch it. I can't do that with ESPN Plus. It's like I gotta watch it through my cable provider. It's an unnecessary step, and I just feel like, come on, man, level up, man. Y'all need to improve your little app, you know, because it's not a good look. And I remember they did have fights on Thursday. I totally forgot about it, but I was like, yo, I'll just watch it on my app. I still haven't watched some things because for some reason this ESPN Plus app is just not working for your boy. So I just wanted to vent real quick on ESPN. I don't know if Bob got connections with the software developers, but they need to do something over there to repair that app. That's all I'm gonna say.
Magdalena and Vicente, that was the fight that happened on Thursday.
See, Trill know all of that. Yeah, that's what's up, man.
I'm just so excited.
That I cared about, so I worked out instead. Hey, listen.
Leave the little guys alone, man. Leave the little guys.
Here's what I would say. I've watched so much boxing in my life. Countless hours of boxing, right? And you have to have, like, there has to be, if there's nothing to do and I have nothing to do, so it's like, work out or watch this fight, right? Go to this event or watch this fight. There needs to be something happening in that fight that's saying, okay, I must watch this fight. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do my workout. So, like, if no one's fighting, that I'm going to do my workout. So, yeah, that's what.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I do got another thing to say. Yo, Trill.
Listen, the fight, hold on. I have ton of things to do, but I really love watching boxing. I don't watch nothing else on TV. I don't watch no other sports shows, no basketball, no nothing. And after when it comes to nighttime, when it hits like 9 o'clock, boom. That's where I get the chance to relax and enjoy. So the fights come on. Perfect timing for the fights.
But I will say this: what I did enjoy about that fight, which I was pleasantly surprised. When he hit that dude with the body shot, you heard him like moaning on the floor, like, and I was like, you would never hear that if there was a whole audience and everything, a whole arena filled with people cheering. So that was actually dope. I was like, damn, like I remember I held the side of my stomach, like, oh my god, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah,
Yo,
he was really in some pain. He was like, oh.
Like, I don't know. Yo, I think I seen it with y'all, right? Remember when we seen Kovalev fight? And he
Cedric Agnew.
Yo, that one looked like it hurt so bad. but you couldn't hear his emotions during that fight. We heard it, man, in this fight against Shakur. It was bad. I was like, oh, man, like, this is what's up. So salute to ESPN for providing a new experience for me. It's always good to hear somebody dying like that. So
it was nice. It was nice to see that. But I'm saying this. I am not supporting bad cards. If you want Caden to watch
hold on, he said it was nice hearing that.
No, it was crazy. I'm sorry, it was crazy.
Hold on, he said, no, I'm talking about Katie. He stopped the whole thing. It was nice seeing that.
No. I watched the Shakur card. I watched all.
No. I'm talking about seeing the brother, seeing the man down in pain, seeing the man in pain. You was like, oh, it was nice seeing that.
No, I'm about to say it was. I'm saying it was nice seeing that card. It was nice seeing the card. I'm glad the brother's all right. But what I'm saying is, for these promoters out there, I'm not watching junk.
Oh yeah, I feel you. I'm not watching.
I remember what was it? I remember that this is not a joke. You can look this up. It was at the end. I think of a Bernard Hopkins fight. Larry Merchant was like, "And HBO brought you junk." Yeah, remember that? Yo, Larry was pissed. Larry called it what it was. Yo, I'm like Larry. Yo, I'm not watching any junk no more. I'm sick of this. If y'all want,
well, listen. This is all. That's all they're gonna be showing from now on is junk. All the top young prospects.
Nah, I watched them. Nah, yeah. Show the top young prospects, but don't try to sell me anything short of that.
Yeah. I agree. They show all this prospect, but not in with nothing to. I don't want nobody to think they're gonna watch their top prospect in there with a tough fight.
No, I'm cool.
You know
with that. I'm cool with Shakur Stevenson one night because it helps build their profile, right? Mm-hmm. But what you're not gonna do is just give me two guys that I never heard of before and think, oh yeah, people just dying for boxing, so they're gonna watch that. Nah, put on a real card, bro. Put on a real card.
Well, I watch all the people that I know.
I'm just saying I watch them too. But like, and if it's
I just happen to know a lot of the little guys. You know what I'm saying? I just happen to know a lot of the little guys. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of the little guys, T.Davis posted this on his Instagram account. That little guy in the white shirt, that's T.Davis. If you can't tell by the head shape, right there, that's Javante. Take a look.
Yeah, we'll walk it off.
Look at the kid. Hey, oh man. Yo, that ain't even funny.
You can't have to walk it off, son. Oh, it's not cool.
Yo, Trill, you like the little guys. What was your reaction to that video?
Yeah. Shout outs to Tate. Shout out to Tate. What was that, his last fight?
It looked like it, right?
He ain't growing an inch. Nah, shout out to my man Tate. Tate been putting in work since a youngin', still a youngin'.
All right, Ned.
Man, listen, why they do that little boy like that? Yo? Like when I saw it last night, I was just like, his body language, his hands is right here. He was like, I'm just gonna walk into this punch. I don't want to fight.
Nah, bro, he tried to punch him first, yo. Nah, he tried to punch him
problems. It's like, walk it off. He took it on the chin. Was like, he beat me. I got it. I'm done. I'm out the ring. Out the ring, yo. But that boy Tank had pop. He had pop since he was same size.
G.
Yo, man, as a father, right, I would have two emotions. Either I'd be like, damn, my son just got beat up. You know what I mean? Or I'll be like, hey, what you doing? Get back in there. You know what I mean? So that's why when I seen him get hit and he walked it off, I was like, yeah, he quit. You know what I mean? Because they look like it hurt real bad. So I know I shouldn't be laughing at little kids getting hurt like that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like why didn't they have that
now,
you know?
It was funny. I'm sorry, man. Hey, man.
Listen, he play NBA now. He play NBA ball now.
So
he found out he was in the wrong sport at that time. That's what he realized.
That little boy should have been playing pee-wee football. Instead, he got in that little ring, and he got punished, man. So shout out to Tank, man. He's been doing it for forever. But salute to Casanova in the comments. I don't know if y'all see Casanova's like, you even hit him hard. I'm like, bro, what fight you was watching? You know what I'm saying?
There's always a troll, man. You know that.
Passing over the new troll.
All right. I mean, I have nothing much to say. I think that you learn at a young age what you do, what you should do, what you're good at, all types of stuff. And I think that young man learned that boxing wasn't for him. That's what I think. So
he's like, where's the skateboard? Nobody got a skateboard lying around.
I think he started doing comedy after that.
Yeah, you say that was Kevin Hart? Word.
They're around the same height. Could be.
We're going to stay with the little guys, so Trill should be happy. Making his first appearance in a cameo to the Love Box, R.Garcia.
Uh-oh.
R.Garcia wrote on Twitter on June 9th to T.Davis, yeah, I get endorsement deals outside of boxing. Something you don't know about because you hit women. To which Tank responded, 2,000K, question mark. He need that money back from him buying that Ferrari. Stop trying to keep up, broke boy, with some emojis. Now, the 2K, I believe that Tank is referring to is an offer Golden Boy gave R.Garcia to fight on one of the shows. Like Tro was talking about how the young up-and-comers are going to be fighting on these shows once because boxing has started back up. We're not going to see them against great fighters, but like Shakur Stevenson just had a card, R.Garcia putting on a card. So Golden Boy offered R.Garcia $200,000 for a fight. And of course, this is the Love Box. So Adrian Broner had to respond. And what Adrian Broner wrote was, in at King Ryan, I'm with you 100%. I'm not fighting for that little money. Tell at Oscar De La Hoya to get the coke out his face and pay his fighters properly with his high. Only a man off drugs will come to one of their biggest fighters with that deal. Yeah, so that's what Adrian Broner said, basically. All right, so there's the exchange of words, basically. Tank and Ryan getting at it over the $200,000 being offered for a fight, and Adrian Broner weighing in. Trill, resident expert on the Love Box. What are your thoughts on all this?
The Love Box officially done turned into the Love Diamond. Because Ryan Garcia jumped in. Ryan has always played the back. He was actually a co-star in the show of the Love and the on the Love Box. He was a co-star because him and Tank was going at it, but him and Devin was going at it as well. So he has always been a fixture on the Love Box. This time he put himself in it, and not only did he put himself in it, he had a co-sign, Adrian Broner, because of course Gervonta ain't talking to AB right now. So AB said, hey, I'm going to jump over here and defend Lil Ryan real quick. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that'll ruffle the feathers and I'll get a phone call from Davis. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But as the narrator of the new Love Diamond, that's how I'm going to spin it. Listen, De La Hoya, I do agree in part. of course, Ryan is one of their biggest stars over there. The biggest star happens to be Canelo, but he's a young star, and he is a young star, and he's a young star in the making, young big star in the making. He's a young star now. I know it's probably the first offer that they throw out was 200,000 maybe, because they're looking at it like we don't know how the money, like we was just talking about in the last segment, we don't know where the money's gonna come from. We don't know how we're gonna generate the money. So I know I got in my back pocket, I know I got 200K I can give you right now. You know what I'm saying? That's how Oscar looked at it. Oscar was like this. I got 200K right now I can give you. You know what I'm saying? Come see me the next week. I'll put another 100 on it. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. You know, and Ryan's like, nah, you're gonna have to give me more money than that. I'm a base. So I can understand where that frustration right there is coming from. But AB jumping in there to defend Ryan, that's all because of the whole Tank still ain't returning your calls, huh, bro?
All right, G.
It's not.
Well, I don't know nothing about the love box thing.
It's the love diamond now. G, the love diamond.
Love diamond. But in regards to the 200,000, I feel like he should have took that fight. And only reason why is because I remember the Zone was talking about how no more, Eddie Hearn in particular was saying, no more big purses for, like small fights, right? So 200,000 to fight like a tuna can, that's decent money. You know what I mean? It's just like, fight a bum, get paid, and then go back to what you're doing. It's not like he's fighting like a top contender or anything. He just gotta make a little debut. Boxing isn't popping right now. People are looking to see fights. You're one of the up-and-comers. Show your face. Give the subscribers of the Zone something to watch. They'll pay you $200,000 just to beat up on somebody. They can ship in from wherever. Boom, easy money. To me, that's how I looked at it. It's easy money. Just take the easy money. Now,
you get caught.
I mean, it's possible, right? It's possible.
And say if he bring out more, and say if he bring out more than 200,000 worth. Said he underpriced himself, undercut himself.
Well, how will we know? Because I'm assuming that
exactly. That's what I'm saying. We don't know. You know what I'm saying?
In the arena, I think it's just more for the Zone subscribers, right? Like, because people are probably like, why am I paying $10 to $20 a month for a subscription when there's no fights? So they're probably like, hey, you know what, Brian, just take this fight. So that way we can keep our subscribers. Hopefully in the process, gain some more new, younger subscribers. We'll give you 200,000 for this fight. I think that's fair, man. I don't know. Like, I can't get mad at him for turning it down. Like, man, listen, I respect everyone's pockets, right? I'm not going to count your pockets. But me personally, during this time, 200K doesn't seem that bad. I'm curious to know what Shakur got for his fight on ESPN. But I'm pretty sure he didn't even get 200K for that fight. So 200K is a good look, man. I don't know, man. So yeah, it is what it is.
I'm looking at it probably. I get what you're saying. I'm looking at it more of like Ryan probably look at it like he know his wealth, and he look at it, he's getting, he got endorsement deals and other stuff going on. He ain't that thirsty for no 200 racks to get punched in the face.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not mad if he turned it down. He turned it down. I'm just saying, like 200K just to fight somebody that's an unknown person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll do it. But we're talking about Ryan.
And not to mention, it's a good opportunity for people who are fiending for boxing to finally get to see you. So I felt like it was a win-win situation. But hey, I respect it. If he feels like he needs more money, then
I probably feel he can get that on the walkthrough in the mall. You know what I'm saying?
I hope so.
All right, Ned.
Man, listen, I don't know, man. These reduced prices, these boxers gotta get used to getting these reduced prices for the time being, man. But 200K, I don't know what he normally gets for a fight, but 200K doesn't sound that bad to me personally. But if he knows his worth, he knows his value, he's not gonna accept no more than what he goes for. then shout out to Ryan. But you gotta keep up with the times or change with the times. So that's it. But for Javante and AB, they're just pure comedy when they get add their input on things.
No, but then I like to add another thing too. I'm assuming that 200K was for him to be the main event. So like, let's just say everything goes back to normal. Ryan got a long way before he becomes the main event again, on a fight card. So this was to me was his opportunity to get some exposure. That's all I'm saying.
So for me, with the whole AB and Gervonta Davis, you have people like Adrian Broner, Gervonta Davis. They're all about being flashy, money. And so Gervonta Davis is laughing at 200K basically because he makes more money than that per fight. And Ryan Garcia is being offered 200K for a fight. So Tank's making fun of him. And then AB jumps in. And Ryan Garcia is feeling like, I'm worth more than this. Why are you offering me such a low amount? But I think G touched on something that's relevant. If you look at performing at the halftime of the Super Bowl, that used to be it's a really big gig. You get halftime of the Super Bowl, you have a lot of eyes on you. A lot of people are watching you. And we're in a unique time where there isn't much in terms of sports being offered right now, live sports. There isn't football. There isn't basketball. UFC, they're putting on fights. Boxing just started putting on matches. And you have a name like Ryan Garcia. They want him to be seen. They want to put on a show with Ryan Garcia, but they don't have the type of money they would have because there's no live audience. There's no gate money coming in. There's no other avenues of revenue with the exception of the networks in the fight. So what can they give him? They offered him $200,000. What he would make would be, in comparison to what he normally makes, I don't know, because I don't know his salary. I didn't look up or try to research what Ryan Garcia normally makes. But to fight the type of guy that Shakur Stevenson fought for $200,000 doesn't seem like a robbery to me. Especially when you factor in he would be active. He'd be one of the only sporting events taking place on that day and probably have more eyes watching him than he's ever had before. I think that would be worth it. So I think they're looking at it as an opportunity to say, hey, you can boost your profile. It's not going to be the big payday. It's not going to be what you're accustomed to making, but it's going to be a big profile fight. Now, him pointing out that he has endorsements, he's probably saying, yo, I make so much money off endorsements. Why would I? But you have to remember why you have endorsements. And I think this is why people lose endorsements. You have endorsements because you're a good boxer. And once you stop being a good boxer, you're going to lose all those endorsements. So if you want to keep your endorsements, you have to box. See, that's what people forget. LeBron James, for example, is a basketball player first. He has all those endorsements for what he does on the court. And the moment he stops doing that stuff on the court, then he's going to lose all the endorsements. Mm-hmm. So you fight on the zone, everyone watches, and you put on an impressive performance like you did against Duno, maybe you get more endorsements. But remember why you get your endorsements. You get your endorsements for boxing. And the longer you don't do that, the harder it's going to be for you to continue to get endorsements. And if you feel like you're being lowballed, then who am I to say whatever? That's for him to decide. But remember, you're a boxer. And boxers have to box. Now, moving on to something else. He brought up
before you move on for a second, I totally agree. But I look at Ryan as being a different type of fighter. I look at him as being an internet fighter, an internet sensation. Before he even had his professional match, we was watching this kid rack up millions and millions of views on Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. I think with Ryan is a special case, not like a Shakur Stevens and other fighters who didn't build up their following before they even stepped in the ring with boxing. he had girls drooling over him before he even stepped in the ring. So I think that's probably where Ryan Garcia. But as far as any other fighter, I agree.
I agree with what you're saying about Ryan Garcia, but my point is, it's not about the money. It's about the exposure. The exposure is the big thing here. It's the money is like Tank can laugh at it, but more people will probably be watching Ryan Garcia fight and he's only making $200K, but more people are going to be watching that fight than have ever watched the Tank fight. And so that's something you got to consider, the exposure, when like you're going to be a big name on that date, on that event. It may trump what you're making, and you're not taking a real risk theoretically, or you would think you're going to select an opponent that he's going to handle easily, and it's just about exposure. So it seems like a win-win. But I mean, I feel him. He doesn't want to ever say he fought for $200K. I guess I don't know. Like, so the other thing I want to touch on was he brought up Gervonta's situation with grabbing the woman. Do you feel like that was fair or foul? G?
I mean, it was breezy, but yo, man, it is social media, so we in the troll era. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, you gonna try to disrespect my pockets, I'm gonna disrespect you, you know? And seeing that video was viral all over social media, I feel like Ryan has the right to bring it up, you know? And that, to me, if I was Tank, I would naturally assume somebody would bring that up in a joking fashion, so I wouldn't really be bringing smoke to any fighter right now, you know? But, hey, Tank is confident, I guess, in his trash talking, so it is what it is.
All right, looks like we lost Dollar Bill here.
Oh, damn.
We have lost Dollar Bill.
What's your thoughts, Ned?
No, I spoke on my thoughts, dude, you know. When y'all put it like that, I didn't even know like the following behind him. But yeah, if he wants to like,
that's how the devil was.
You don't even know. No.
I thought I followed him on Instagram. A couple like earlier when we like early in the like last year.
What's the question, Ned?
What's the question, Ned?
Yeah.
What's the question?
What are you talking about right now?
I thought we was closing up on. I was lost. So what was this? Like, hold on, before we were talking, I thought we were still on the Ryan Garcia.
What are your thoughts on Ryan Garcia bringing up T.Davis in his situation with grabbing the woman? Do you think that was fair or foul? That's the question.
Oh, it was foul, yeah. It's social media now. Hey, let me say this. It's social media. Like, everybody's miles apart where you can just say whatever you want on the internet now. Like, you know, some guys, we got people call out Mike Tyson for that past, for his past problems where he gone to prison. There's times when people just go on the internet. So people, if you want to go that low and throw that out there, make that known to the world, like, yeah, you grab women with whatever he did, whatever Gervonta did, it's foul, but it's the norm now. That's what people do now. They'll go for the low blow online, you know, just to tarnish your image, your character, and your career. So
I think it's not unprecedented. We've seen it before. I remember Jean Pascal before the Marcus Brown fight, pulling the wig out the back.
You want to beat me?
You going to hit? You like to hit me? Hit me.
Haitian brothers, man. I don't know what's going on with them.
Yo, man, you gotta respect. Yo, Pascal was hilarious though. Yeah.
We're just gonna go on.
Huh?
what's the next topic?
We're just gonna go to the next topic.
Nah. I just pulled up on my man's. Hold on.
Are you about to play it?
Marcus, first time you will be fighting on the same card, correct? Yeah, you called him like.
Where's my?
Look at Chris Arreola looking slim.
Knock me out for real. Cause we all look at you the best for running like a chicken.
So what you gonna do right now? You promise the world, promise all the fans that you're gonna fight like a real man this time around. Promise. If I were this, promise the world. If I were this and look like a woman, or you're gonna promise the world that you're gonna.
Oh man, that's low.
So let me know. If I were this and win, are you gonna promise the world you're gonna knock me out this time around?
Yo, you know everybody else was mad uncomfortable on that stage, man.
Yeah, man. So Marcus Brown had multiple issues with domestic violence, and so Jean Pascal called him out at the press conference, and there was Arturo Gotti even came at Floyd Mayweather, calling him a woman beater. So it's not unprecedented in the sport of boxing for an opponent or someone to call someone else a woman beater. But you know, do I think it was fair or foul? I feel like G said it. It was like, okay, you're gonna come at me, I'm gonna come at you. And that's how things happen now on social media. People just go at it on social media and say whatever they want. So
it is what it is.
All right, man. You can give Trill some time to try to get back in, but if not, we're gonna have to move on. All right, I'll say we just move on, and he'll come in when he comes in. I don't know how long we've been going for.
A minute.
It's been going on for a while. So
Got a couple more topics.
Yeah, we got more stuff, but I feel like we're gonna just close it out.
Yeah,
we're gonna close it out with something a little different. We're gonna ask personal questions. Well, not too personal, but just personal somewhat. So, I don't even know what I should start off with first, but all right. The first question I'm gonna ask is, if you could only listen to 5 albums for the rest of your life, what would they be? So you can't listen to anything other than these 5 albums for the rest of your life. What are the 5 albums you would listen to? And I feel like I'm gonna start one off with Ned.
Let's go. 5 albums I would listen to that I have to pick to listen to for the rest of my life if that was the option.
That's it.
First, it would be Cameron, Purple Haze. I love that album.
Oh my God, bro.
I like the album, but love it like that. That's
that Rudy Tooty Fruity Louie.
I'm gonna go Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap. I love that album. I love that mixtape. It's not an album, but it's a mixtape. It's just dope. It's just
your age right now, bro.
It was just classic Chance the Rapper when he was dope back then.
It was when he was dope. He's not dope anymore.
Hey, his wave ain't the same. It don't hit.
Had this one bar that was fire. He remember what he said? I hit you with that 6-piece. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, that was a dope bar.
Yeah. All right, hold on, man. I gotta write this down. Hold on, Ned.
You don't want to.
Ned said Cameron, Purple Haze, and Chance. And what was Acid Rapper?
No, Acid
Rap.
Oh, Acid Rap? Okay. All right. What else, man?
I gotta go R&B now. I gotta go R&B. I'm probably gonna go Jodeci's all-time greats. I'll probably do that.
Jodeci all-time greatest hits?
Yeah, all-time greatest
hits. Greatest hits don't count.
That don't count. That don't count. The greatest hits don't count. It's the album.
It's not an album, yo.
All right. If that's not, then all right. I'm gonna go to soundtrack The Lion King. I'm gonna diverse it because you gotta. If those are the only things I can listen to, I gotta keep things like that inspired.
You're trying to find a way to get multiple artists in on one disc. You're trying to. I'll let you have it. Lion King soundtrack.
Stupid Lion King.
I'm gonna go.
Which one? The old one or the new one?
Old one. The old one. 90s. I'm gonna go. Michael Jackson. I can't do greatest. I'm gonna go Thriller. I'm gonna go his best album, Thriller, and then I'm gonna end it off with Biggie Smalls, Ready to Die. Yo, you gotta have that. You gotta have This gotta be diverse. The guy had, you know.
All right, Ned, you are a fool, bro. So Ned's 5 albums: Cameron Purple Haze, Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap, The Lion King soundtrack from the 90s, Michael Jackson's Thriller, and Biggie, Ready to Die. All right, man.
Yeah, I made it hard. I can't add the greatest hits.
G, what are your 5 albums?
All right, so knowing me, and I told Kaden this before we started recording, you can ask me the same question like a month later, and I'll probably have a different lineup. But as of right now, if I could think of albums that this is it for the rest of my life, and this is just gonna be on constant rotation, y'all gotta walk with me. So for number 5, I got Slum Village, Fantastic Volume 2. The reason why is because, you know, I'm an artist. And so growing up, I used to actually paint listening to this album. And I could listen to it like from beginning to end and just let it rock.
What's the name of the album?
Fantastic Volume 2. Then we got, I'm going to go to the R&B side like Ned. We got the Jackson 5, the 3rd album. It's literally called the 3rd album. You know what I mean? Like, again, from beginning to end, fire. This is young Michael, you know? I love that album so much. Then I'm going to go for number 3. Hold on a minute. I said, yeah, number 4 is Jackson 5. Number 3 is Mos Def's Black on Both Sides. Another album where from beginning to end, classic. I'm telling you, like, this generation, I even put on a bunch of my students to this album, and they were like, yo, this album is great, G. Thank you so much.
Is My Army Says on this album?
Yeah, that's the album where, yeah. That album, man, when I tell y'all, man, yo, salute to Mos Def, man. And shout out to Talib, too, because, you know, they had a good little Black Star collab.
Yeah.
But, next album, so this one is number 2 on my list, is going to go to Bone Thugs and Harmony, East 99, Eternal.
That was my joy. I can't lie. That was my joy.
That was a joy.
That album was crazy, you know? And so I'm not really a huge Bone Thugs.
That's the first CD I ever bought.
Thank you. That was my first CD that I've received. But I received it, you know? So that album.
You receive it or retrieve it, brother.
Hey, you know, what Wilder said, you know what I mean? But my number 1, this is going to be controversial, but y'all got to understand, I'll explain, you know what I mean? This album meant a lot to me. And so, number 1 on my list goes to Ghostface Killer, Iron Man, the first album. I'm a huge Wu-Tang fan. As y'all can see, I got a Wu-Tang poster in the back. I actually got this Iron Man vinyl behind me. I can't see it. Maybe I should like hang it up sometime. But that album was like it was like my first Wu-Tang album that I bought outside of the Wu-Tang Clan. So even though it wasn't like the first album, it was Iron Man and Only Built for Cuban Links, the Raekwon album. But I lean more towards the Ghostface album over Raekwon's album. And so those 2 albums in particular, but I was like, if I had to pick one, it would have to go to Ghostface. And so that's why I got Ghostface Killer as number 1. And I got a couple of honorable mentions, but it is cheating to bring up honorable mentions. So, yeah. But I would, if I could,
go ahead, bring it up, man.
Life After Death. It would be Biggie's Life After Death, because again, that's an album where it's like I knew like the lyrics from beginning to end. You know what I mean? Growing up, and so that album meant a lot to me as well. But
can I get my honorable mention?
Oh God!
It'd be Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. Yo. I love that album. Yo. I meant that. The album's a classic. Yo.
I respect that.
Yo, you name a bunch of albums that wouldn't even be in my honorable mention, Ned.
Man, you got to diversify. Man. We different eras, man. You know?
Yeah, I gotta diversify.
But Ned, I think you should at least listen to Nas's Illmatic, bro. Because I feel like
I got Illmatic. I stay bumping Illmatic.
Oh, all right. Because it seemed like
I got it. Yo, you know, I got
it. Rap as one of your tops. I'm like, bro,
and then, if it's a 5, I just need like things like I love like that. It's triggered like
life. You will listen to that album for the rest of your life.
Which?
acid rap from
I just love good ass intro, yo. I just like the construction of how they made the beat, like the flow of it, everything. Yo. I think that was Chance the Rapper's hardest like intro ever, a song ever. I just love that song. I could bump it just get me in the mood every day.
Yeah, I respect it.
Let me see if we can. First ever live call to Trill Dollar Bill. Actually, man, we probably should do like a live session with
episode. Yeah, that'd be dope, man. Just for the fans, man.
Yeah, I think something happened with his phone. All right, man. Top albums for me. Top 5 albums for your boy. Ned, this is how you listen to music. And you probably never listened to these albums before, and if you did, you probably didn't listen right.
Yeah.
Okay? So let me school you, because you naming Chance the Rapper.
Yo, Acid Rap's a classic, yo. Like, I don't know.
It's not a classic. I've heard it, bro. It's not a classic. It's not a classic. What's the coloring book's better than that?
No, you bugging. You bugging.
It is. The coloring book is better than that. All right. At number 5 for me, Juvenile 400 Degrees.
I knew you was gonna say that. You put me onto that one. So
okay. Did you listen to it?
Nah, I still haven't listened to it, man. You put me onto so many rappers, I was just like, but I will give you.
I'm gonna add that to
Juvenile 400 Degrees. That album is fire. That's my joint, Juvenile 400 Degrees. If I can only listen to 5 albums for the rest of my life, that's one album I'll listen to. The next album, Jay-Z, The Blueprint.
Oh yeah,
Blueprint 1. Yeah, that was
Blueprint
fun.
1. That's the only Blueprint, really.
That was
Blueprint 2 was him trying to make a life after death, but it just didn't come off the same way. But yeah, it would be Jay-Z, Blueprint. Number 3 for me would be Nas, Stillmatic. And what was crazy about that is I remember when Jay-Z dropped the Blueprint and we were listening to it, we're like, yo, this is fire. This is fire. And he had dropped The Takeover. And so we were all waiting for Nas to respond. And then, because I remember the Source gave the Blueprint 5 mics. And like, as a young kid in hip hop, you're like, man, 5 mics. All you talk about is like 5 mics, like a 5 mic album, because that means it's like a classic album. And everyone would be mad about their mics. Like Drag On got 2.5 mics, and he was always mad about it. But that album, I like Drag On, but that album was not fire. And so, yeah, Jay-Z, I got 5 mics. He dissed Nas. Nas came out with Ether. And I do believe that the Blueprint's a classic album. And, Takeover was a pretty good diss. But then Nas dropped Ether. I was like, man.
That was a game changer right there.
Yo. And then when I heard Stillmatic and it was a classic too, I was like, yo, this was a good year for hip hop. Like 2 classics, like just dropped back to back, Jay-Z and Nas. So I would have 400 Degrees, Jay-Z, Blueprint, Nas, Stillmatic. And at number 2, Tupac, Machiavelli. Okay? That would be my second album. Have you ever heard Machiavelli, Ned?
Nah, I haven't.
Respect yourself. I haven't heard it in full. Respect yourself, bro. Listen to Machiavelli, and then maybe you'll know what real rap sounds like. Okay? And number 1, to me, this album changed hip-hop forever. Like, styles, the way people put songs together. This album is timeless. This album is timeless. To this day, if you listen to this album, it's just straight fire. It's like, it's not outdated. This changed hip-hop. Number 1 for me, Nas, Illmatic.
Yeah, I respect it.
The best album. I'd take that. So my 5 albums would be Juvenile, 400 Degrees, Jay-Z, The Blueprint, Nas, Stillmatic, Tupac, Machiavelli, and Nas, Illmatic. Yeah. G said his 5 albums would be Slum Village, Fantastic, Volume 2, Jackson 5, the 3rd album, Mos Def, Black on Both Sides, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Eternal 1999 or East
1999 Eternal.
Yeah, 1999 Eternal. Yeah, that was my joint, man. And Ghostface Killer, Iron Man. Those would be G's 5 albums. Ned's 5 albums.
Fire. Boom, boom.
I like Purple Haze, but there's no way Purple Haze.
I like Purple Haze, man. That's
Man,
how I know
chip, everywhere, chip.
I'm gonna keep on Cameron SDE was better.
Hold up, Purple Haze was fire, though.
SDE is better than Purple Haze.
I'm saying SDE is like
Cameron SDE is better than Purple Haze. He don't even know SDE though. I bet you he don't.
I can tell
that was like
ain't one feature on SDE.
He didn't hear it. He about to be honest, like nah.
Exactly.
SDE was
bro. Go listen to SDE. Yo, go listen to SDE. And Cameron was better on SDE and on all the Horse and Carriage album. I can't off the top of my head, but that he was better. Man, stop it. That's why I know
my joints on here, dog. I just like Down and Out's my favorite. Get Down. What is it? Where is it? Family Ties. Where is it? Hey Lady.
Oh, Family Ties. Yo, wait, Ned. It's Family Ties a song when he was like, I was obsessed with Cookie. I want to sex her cookie.
I think that was
it. Get her nookie. Wipe my nose. Go get those boogies.
That's when Cam went all out. Like I don't know if he focused more on wordplay that was just outrageous. Like
yo, Ned, you're killing
me. He was actually bad, man. Like,
you're killing me, Ned.
Yeah, you hollering, man. Yo, I guarantee you, Ned. Yo, you gotta listen to that SDE album.
Wait, Get 'Em Girls is on that album too, right?
Yeah, Get 'Em Girls is on that album. I think he had a song with Twister on here, Adrenaline Rush. That's one of my favorites.
Yo, Ned, you're killing me, Smalls. I can't even deal with you, bro.
He youngin', man. He a young. It ain't his fault.
Oh my God. All right, so for Ned, his top 5 albums. Cameron, Purple Haze, Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap, the Lion King soundtrack from the 90s, Michael Jackson, Thriller, and Biggie, Ready to Die. You could have gone Life After Death. You would have had a double disc.
Yeah, true.
All right, so we're moving on to the last question of the day, unless Trill logs in, and then we'll get his. But if you could only watch 5 movies for the rest of your life, what would those 5 movies be? I'm afraid to even ask this question.
Let's go. I was ready to roll.
Ned, what are your 5 movies, bro?
First, Paid in Full. I love that movie. I could watch that movie every day, every hour, every second, man. I love that movie. Menace to Society is the second one. I love Menace to Society. It's just such a dope movie. It was great. It was shot well. Who was it? What's his name? Who was the director of it again?
It was either John Singleton or who's the other guy? I think it might have just been John Singleton.
John Singleton. He's dope director. He shot a lot of classics. Next would be Unbreakable. I love Unbreakable with Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis.
Yo, bro, what you know about that movie?
That's my favorite, yo.
Is that the movie where like they're torturing the guy?
Huh? No. What was it? It was when
Unthinkable. No, I was thinking about a movie Unthinkable. No.
Okay. Next is
if you would have said Unthinkable, I would have given you mad props. But you don't know nothing about a movie.
I don't know Unthinkable. I don't know. But
go ahead, Unbreakable. Go ahead.
Unbreakable.
Wait, you said
it would be I gotta throw Toy Story, the first Toy Story in there. That movie. I just keep stuff from my childhood. And it's Bad Boys the Collection, yo, because it's just that.
No, you can't have a collection.
I can't have a collection. Then if I can't have a collection, I don't want none of them. I gotta go. Last one I had in mind. There's a lot. Let's play. One of my favorite movies. I love this movie. It's called Hero with Dustin Hoffman. It's just a dope movie. It's about this guy. He's just like running down on his luck, and he saves a bunch of people from this plane crash. If you guys seen it, you guys gotta watch it. And then some guy, Andy Garcia, I think his name, Dustin Hoffman loses his shoe and then gives it to this homeless guy, and this homeless guy has the shoe, he gets all the reward and credit. Dustin Hoffman gets arrested, and it's just the way he redeems himself. So it's so dope. But it's a really dope movie. So is that my 5?
Okay, so let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You have, hey, you mean said your 5? It's your 5. All right. So, anyways, like, Paid in Full, Menace to Society, Unbreakable, Toy Story, and Hero.
Yeah.
Lineup, man. I don't know. Hey, but I'll be honest with you, yeah, I might hate my lineup too. So.
All right. I mean, I'm just saying, man.
Oh damn it! Oh man, I don't want to like this. I left a lot.
So you're done. All right, G, go ahead.
Yo, hold on. First, let me start off with my honorable mentions. I'll be quick, I promise you. So, number 1, right, for my honorable mentions would be Avengers Endgame. Only reason why, that was the first movie I ever watched, I actually cried. You know what I mean? I have to be honest. A tear went down the brother's cheek.
You cried for the wrong reason, bro. You cried for the wrong reason.
Black Panther came back. That's all I needed to see, and I shed a tear for Wakanda. Now,
I cried when they killed my man Thanos, man.
And then Menace to Society, that's another honorable mention. But my final honorable mention is a personal guilty pleasure of mine, but I have to keep it 100. Is Dirty Dancing. That's a great movie. I don't watch that movie a couple of times.
This is bad.
Actually, pretty good storyline and everything. And then when she started dancing and the homie picked her up, classic. But anyways, so now to my top 5.
Respect yourself. The homie, Patrick Swayze.
Exactly.
Respect my man.
Yo, Ghost is a classic. I'm not gonna lie, yo.
You know what I mean?
That is a classic.
What, Dirty Dancing?
No, Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
Oh, anyways. Man.
Come on now.
Back to my list. You know what I'm saying? So, my number 5 is The Godfather Part 1.
Okay.
Although I like all 3 of them. But if I had to pick one, it would be Part 1. Number 4 would be Rocky Part 3. You know what I mean? My number 3 would be King Arthur. My number 2 would be The Patriot. I don't know if y'all seen it with Mel Gibson.
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. You know what I'm saying? And my number 1 is Malcolm X. My only hero had growing up. And I thought Spike Lee did an excellent job depicting Malcolm X with Denzel Washington. So that's my lineup.
All right. I mean, G's lineup is what it is, I guess. It's not as bad as Ned's.
There's a couple movies on that.
G got 3 really good movies that I mess with in his lineup. All right, G got The Godfather 1. I mess with The Godfather. Rocky 3, of course. I mess with Rocky 3. King Arthur, I could do without King Arthur. The Patriot, I could do without The Patriot. And 1, Malcolm X. I love that movie. I used to watch that movie all the time. I love that movie, Malcolm X. And it's a good movie. I know Malcolm X is on Netflix right now, too.
Yeah. Who killed Malcolm X?
No, that's like a documentary, but the actual Spike
Lee movie on it? Oh, yeah, I got a Blu-ray.
Y'all can I add my honorable mentions since G want to cheat. Goodfellas, Pulp Fiction,
You just freestyling, I could tell.
Nah, these are my favorite. I'm just trying to think of like movies like really like I love to watch. Cause the quotables, I like the quotables and I like the Training Day. And I don't want to bite y'all. I do love Malcolm X, but I'm not gonna bite y'all.
Yo, bro, you done.
Yeah, like you gonna do another 5? You just
you just went through like a list.
Bro, you just named way more movies than anyone else.
Nah, you're right. I was cheating.
Close, man. You doing
but if I gotta say goodbye to them, I gotta at least acknowledge them before they go.
Yo, you crazy dude, man.
Yo, but y'all better not hate on The Patriot, man. That's a good movie right there, man.
It is, yo. But
that movie was fire. I watched it so many times, it's crazy.
Yo, Patriot is dope. I'm trying to think. I'm not gonna lie, I
like it better than Braveheart. I'm like, I don't know why people love Braveheart so much over Patriot. I'm like, man, The Patriot, that dude right there was gangster, you know?
All right, man. So I'm gonna run down my list. Ned, I'm gonna show you what real movies look like again.
Oh man,
right.
I like those movies too, man.
Number 5, Anchorman. That
movie's hilarious.
The Anchorman, dog. I got. If I can only watch movies for the rest of my life. Huh?
What's it? Talladega Nights? How you say it? Bro, I think that was funnier than Anchorman, bro.
It was pretty funny. It wasn't funny than Anchorman.
I'm funny. You know what I mean? I forgot about
Anchorman. All right. Number 4, Love Jones. That's number 4 with me. If you've never seen Love Jones, you should check that out. Number 3, I actually agree with G on something. Malcolm X, the Spike Lee movie. That's my joint. Number 2. My top 2 let you know what about. Listen, this was my dude. To me, hands down, the funniest dude to ever live. Number 2, Coming to America.
Eddie, that's my mom. My favorite. She love that.
Listen, and number 1, Boomerang. That's my movie. That's my movie, dog. Number 1.
It makes sense, yeah.
My top 5 movies that I would watch, that I would pick if I could only watch 5 movies for the rest of my life would be Anchorman, Love Jones, Malcolm X, Coming to America, and Boomerang. And I don't really do honorable mentions, but I know we got a lot of people from the UK. And one movie that I really like, I love this movie, and I had this movie on bootleg before like it was ever really released officially. And Trill would tell you, we used to watch this movie and people used to think we were certified crazy and we would be in stitches just dying and laughing. And we were watching it and it became popular years after in America. We were watching it, laughing at it, and then this person blew up. But the movie is Ali G in the House. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Ali G in the House. Ali G in the House, Sacha Baron Cohen. And he's the one in Talladega Nights. He's the other race guy.
He played Borat.
He played Borat. He played
in the House.
Yeah, Ali G in the House. Yeah,
I'm gonna check that out.
Yo, bro, it's stupid funny. Like it's dumb comedy, but yo, we used to just watch it and be dying. Like, he's at like a feminist rally because he's like trying to run for parliament, and it's like he's at a feminist rally and he's like, all the bees in the house say yo, because he thinks he's a hip hop. Like, yo, it's hilarious. Yo. Anyways, man, you just gotta check out. He just does a lot of dumb stuff. But yeah, me and Trill used to watch that all the time and just be dying. But yeah, so that's my joints, man. I don't think we're gonna get Trill back, so we're gonna have to get Trill's list later. I don't know. Lord knows what would be on Trill's list. But fellas, that concludes the Boxing Bros. Everyone, please check out our channel. Check out our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and hopefully we'll check you again soon.
And also, please hit that notification bell so you can get all the notifications of all our videos on YouTube.
And our Facebook is full. Y'all forgot. Follow us on our Facebook is full. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and all the other social media platforms. Thank you.
Hey, fellas, man, you're better off following us, okay? Because you're following these half-naked women who don't even follow you back or acknowledge anything you do. All you're doing is making them popular, and they don't give you nothing. We give you content, right? So you might as well follow us. So I'm just saying. All right, man.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
That was dope.
We in the feeling like we gonna fight ya.